Football. 330-416-3442. Be a part of the excitement of Cleveland Cobras football.
Saturday morning sports page right back at you. Pal Lucia, Dave Clark. Saturday sports page, halftime, third quarter, doing it at the Gessler Studios here in Struthers, Ohio, 330-707-4202. That's the Gessler Propane Studios. Just in case you need to get propane gas, this is the place to come. Anyway, as we motor through this crazy weekend for college football, we got to get to the pros. Frank Reich, well, a couple observations on Ohio State. I personally thought that interception he threw in the first quarter, the quarterback Ohio State threw, he threw that ugly interception in the first quarter. I don't know where he was throwing the ball to.
Well, he was throwing the inside shoulder.
But it was to no, but yeah, Harrison was so covered.
He didn't see him. He didn't see that receiver.
Oh my God.
That's when you play and I'm sure Jim will know about that. Cover two, but you hide your corner on the short side of the field. So he's just laying in the weeds, as they say. He's just laying there. You don't see him. You look at your progressions, and you got to throw to the inside shoulder away from the corner that's in the inside of the field. And that's what he did. But he didn't see the guy laying in the weeds and went straight to, he just jumped it. And that's just what happens.
He jumped that so early.
Oh, yeah. You didn't see him. He was already released it. He was on it.
Oh.
You're not going to see that in that zone cover. That was a perfect defensive call. Perfect.
Yeah. That, to me, when they handed Michigan that ball that far deep and then Michigan scored the touchdown, I had an extremely bad feeling they would be chasing that 7 points the whole game.
Yeah.
And they were. And here's the deal with Michigan. You knew that was going to be a very competitive game, tight game, equally matched teams. You can't give, in a game like that, there is no room for error. You can't have turnovers. Michigan had 0 turnovers. Ohio State had the 2 turnovers at the end of the game. And granted, the one at the fourth quarter was iffy. I mean, I know he was trying to make the play. He was getting hit, and he underthrew it.
Yeah,
okay. I'm not as critical of that interception as that first one is because I thought he was trying to force that ball to Marvin Harrison. I thought because he was desperate, they were trying to make a play. They had that desperation because it was a grind. There was 3 and out. Both teams were 3 and out, and they wanted to make something happen. And when he threw that ball, I knew, gosh, I don't know what it was. As soon as he threw it, I said, that's going to be bad. And sure enough, they show the replay, and it was horrendous. But I thought that interception and that 7 points they handed Michigan that early in the game was something that they chased the whole game. And even when they tied them up, then Ohio State's defense, I think, was gassed in that second half, especially the fourth quarter. Then Michigan dominated, but Ohio State defense did hold them to when Ohio State tied at 24-24, the defense for Ohio State could not really get a stop. However, the Ohio State defense did hold Michigan to 3 points on 2 occasions, but Michigan took up all that clock in getting that 6 points, and that also did seal Ohio State's fate. The defense could not get that stop and get Ohio State's offense back out on the field.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, when I seen that play and they showed it over and over, I said, that is a Mike McDonald special, who's now the Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator, used to be Michigan. That's a pro call to have the guy cover 2, play the inside corner, and then have him play on the outside, which makes him look like he's going to be a deep safety, but he's not. He's going to come up and just lay in the weeds. He just lays there. He just lays. So if any out pattern, he could jump it. But the quarterback's not going to see him in his progressions because they're quick, right across the horn. So was Marvin Harrison open against that corner that was on him? Yes. But he didn't see the guy in the weeds. And you got to throw towards the sideline.
Right, he threw the other way.
No, but he threw it to the sideline. Remember, he jumped it from the outside in. He didn't get it from the inside out. He threw it from the outside. That's where you should throw it, away from the defense. But he didn't know that guy's laying in the weeds. And when he threw it, he jumped the route. And you just, he came, from that back end and just came and got it. That's looked like, I don't know if that defense coordinator took over. Was he on Michigan staff last year? He may have been.
Right.
And just, learned a lot from him because he definitely did use that. And you don't see a lot of college teams use that kind of formation or those type of things. I see it in some teams. You'll see it at Alabama because of Saban, knowing the program, doing some things, some trickery there of using it. That was a perfect defensive call. And see, and a play like that, you can't make mistakes, but I'm not going to blame it on that one because that was so early in the game. That's at the beginning of the game. And if you're a top team, you may be able to weather that storm and come back. And they stayed there. They stayed within range, but that was just a team. I will say that Michigan dominated the clock and was able to control the clock a lot, and that's what really, really did it.
That's what did them in the second half. I knew I had a bad feeling when they lost, when they gave that 7 points up to Michigan, because Michigan was so good and wasn't going to turn. I said, unless Michigan turns the ball over and gives Ohio State a layup, then I'd say they could offset that. But knowing Michigan's defense, and Harbaugh's put a great team together, let's face it. Bottom line is, I felt and I thought Ohio State, all in all, was up to the task and played them better this year than last year, certainly. Yeah. And the defense overall played okay, but they couldn't get that stop in the second half. But that size of that Michigan State offensive line wore that team down, and I think that really helped Michigan control the ball in the second half, especially that fourth quarter. They don't have any room for error. And when you give a team like Michigan a quick 7 points, you're in trouble. And I had a bad feeling they were never, and they couldn't. They just seemed to never get over that hump. And then they finally did tie them at 24-24. Yeah. But then that defense, I think, was gassed. And that then Michigan dominated the line of scrimmage in the fourth quarter.
And that's why I said they won the game, because I looked at if they were not able to come back. See, that's what I looked at. They came all the way back and tied that game. So they was there, but they didn't have nothing left. I mean, They took it to them physically.
I would look at it this way. Ohio State needed that 7 point cushion. They needed the 7 point cushion there because I think that I thought that they would need that 7 point cushion in order to take that, because Michigan was going to come after them in the second, especially in the fourth quarter. Michigan was going to come after them. They needed something. They needed a cushion. They didn't have that cushion. And they would have needed that 7 point cushion. And I think ultimately, I know that's short-sighted, where people say, well, the game itself played out. I said, yeah, but when you're playing a team as good as Michigan, you just don't have any room for error. And Michigan had no turnovers and offensively played a pretty solid game. Not a great game, but they played a good game. And in that fourth quarter, though, I do have to admit that Ohio State not getting a stop defensively ultimately did. But they didn't give Michigan touchdowns. They did hold them to 3 points on both occasions. But they were down I swear, I wanted that 7 points back so bad. I kept looking at it. I go, boy, you could use that now because you would have needed it. Well,
or if they would have been able to stop him not getting in the end zone, because he didn't score on interception. So keep him out of the end zone, force him to a field goal only.
Yeah, but that's when they were like inside the 10 when they but I mean we didn't see them do it before. They have done it.
They've done it before.
I just didn't think they were going to be able. I was not surprised. They almost did it, but I wasn't really surprised that Michigan scored on that fourth down and won.
They struggled to get.
They did struggle. They made them earn it. I will give the defense a lot of props. They made them earn it. That 7, but I thought that interception was such a backbreaker. It was early in the game. It's just something that I felt it was going to carry, and unfortunately, the Buckeyes now. Only problem with Kyle McCord, we've been spoiled with Justin Fields and Stroud. Yeah. Kyle McCord is an okay quarterback, but he's not. You could clear now. Maybe he'll develop and be better next year. You have to hope. You're a Buckeye fan. Yeah. You hope that he is much better next year than he is this year. I'm not sure he's going to be. What disappointed me this year with Kyle McCord, I just never thought they utilized Marvin Harrison. His ability to throw the ball down the field, I just didn't think they threw the ball down the field like Stroud was able to. All right, Marvin wasn't with Fields, but with the way Stroud would throw down the field to Marvin Harrison, McCord just couldn't utilize Harrison quite on that level.
Well, I'm not going to blame that on McCord at all, because if you're not going deep, that is not his call. He's the quarterback getting the plays in.
Well, then that would fall then on Dave.
Whoever.
Or the old coordinator.
Yeah, it falls because they're not as trustworthy going down the field as they was with Stroud. Was a veteran too. When you say veteran,
right? He was the second year, right?
And you feel that a lot more comfortable with him. You've seen it his first year how he was. He was good then, and then he had command in his second year. So they would do anything. They didn't stop Stroud from doing anything. He'd throw across the field.
No, he did everything he wanted to.
Yeah. And whereas you get this guy, this is his first year. I seen that their reins was on him a lot tighter in the early part of the year than it was this latter part. They started to let him throw more down the field, but not enough. Yeah, and I think you should. I think you should not only throw to Marvin Harrison, he could be a great decoy, and you can hit the guys underneath who can definitely run patterns too. You had some good other receivers, and I just think that they didn't utilize their total offense. Every time it was for a big throw, most of the time, I'm going to say 90% of the time, it's going to Harrison. Whereas before you had, with Stroud, you had all kind of guys that could. You had Harrison, you had Enigma. You had everybody. You had all kinds of guys that was involved, and he would use them all, along with his tight end. So I just think that they haven't went to the full range of the whole route tree of letting everybody and letting the quarterback just letting it go, and that might be a difference next year. That they'll see that, hey, you got to let him go now. He done went through all of it. He should have been let go before that, though. But you can see they put a harness on that. They do not go down the field enough. They just don't.
Well,
I think they can with other receivers, not just with Harrison. I think they can go with others.
Well, you've got when you break down the Ohio State receivers, obviously Marvin Harrison being by far the best one, but then you've got Mbukwa, who also was very good. I just thought they never utilized.
They don't use him enough.
They didn't utilize him enough.
There's another guy, not Coleman.
He's 4. Got Tate. He's a freshman. He's number 11. He's like 6'4", about 210 pounds. I have to look up, but Tate.
But
he was coming off the bench, and he's very good too. But I just thought that I felt all year long. I just never thought they utilized the wide receivers to their fullest ability. And maybe it's because they didn't think that Kyle McCord had the arm strength or the confidence to throw it downfield. But Kyle McCord and Marvin Harrison played together in high school, so it wasn't like
he has the arm. He has the arm.
He had an arm, but why all year long I kept waiting, and then in the Michigan game I would have at least with Marvin Harrison, I can guarantee you're going to get interference called a lot. Because bottom line is you could see even the one great catch he had, they interfered. Those guys can't guard him. And I was like, to the point, why don't you throw the ball down the field to Marvin Harrison, and you're going to probably get a pass interference call because there is no way anybody can guard him. And they just didn't seem to throw it down enough. And then Harrison sometimes makes the catch anyway after the guy's tackled and held on to him. I mean, he's made catches with guys draped all over him.
Right.
And that's what I was saying. I was just saying I never thought as great. Marvin Harrison, to me, is probably, he's going to be he's going to be a top 5 pick, no doubt, coming out. And he's obviously going to come out after this year. If Ohio State does not get in the playoff, then I think Harrison is not playing in a bowl game. I'm certainly not playing if I'm Marvin Harrison. Yeah. I'm not playing in any bowl game that means nothing. I'm going to the NFL, and I don't blame him.
Right.
Because you don't want to have a blown ACL or an Achilles or something, bull injury that you're going to be like,
right.
My career now is in jeopardy. So unless they get to the Final Four, then I'm sure he'll play. But the whole point of it with Ohio State, then we'll get to the NFL, is I just thought during the year especially, I thought they would be grooming the game where they'd have more confidence in throwing the ball downfield to Harris. And then that way, especially leading up to the Michigan game, that would be your go-to play. Because nobody can guard him.
Yeah, even though Michigan, what they were playing was something to take away the deep ball with that cover 2. And you got the 2 safeties deep. It takes away going deep into coverage. So they had that, but you still had to take some shots. But I'm looking at the games before that. They still didn't throw down the field all the time. So
I never thought they were throwing the ball that
well. That's my quarterback. I mean, I can understand early in the season, but as time go, it's time to take the reins off.
Right.
Let him just wing it.
Let it go.
That's what Harbaugh did with McCarthy. Once he put him in there, at first you seen he didn't do a lot. He did short passes, let him run. Then all of a sudden, he just let him go. He's just throwing it all over the field. You make a mistake, that's how you learn, though. And I don't know why they don't let him do it, because I could see he got the arm strength to do it. But, I don't know. They didn't have the confidence in him as they did
with Stroud.
And I definitely understood Stroud. But they even showed more confidence in Fields.
Oh, yeah.
Letting him throw,
well, speaking of Fields, you've just opened up the door to the NFL. Not to beat the dead horse with Ohio State, but open up the door to the NFL and Justin Fields. Monday night's game, I know people are now basically saying that Justin Fields will probably be traded, that it looks like Chicago has the Carolina pick. Mm-hmm. And obviously we'll talk a little bit more about Carolina and their coaching and their owner and Tepper and all that. But focus a little bit on Fields, NFL. It looks like that at the end of the day, that people believe that the Chicago Bears are going to move on from Justin Fields because they will probably draft either Caleb Williams or Drake May. Mm-hmm. And then they reset the contract.
Yeah.
Because Fields' contract, they've got to decide if they're going to pick up the 5th year or not. Where now they'll get the reset of the contract. You go back to the rookie contract. If you say draft, we'll say they're going to get the number 1 pick because Carolina's 1 in 10, and they have Carolina's pick. So Chicago will probably have the number 1 pick in this draft. They take Caleb Williams, and then do you think they will ultimately trade Justin Fields? If they take Caleb Williams, obviously they're going to move on to Fields. However, there are a lot of teams interested in Justin Fields out there.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot. The New York Giants are rumored to be very interested in him.
It'd be a whole bunch. He's a young quarterback. I don't care who the quarterback is. If he's that young, they're going to give him an opportunity to go somewhere else and see if he can get better in the pro game. Now, if he's an older guy, 28, 29 years old, and he's still playing at that level that he's doing, that might not be as radiant after.
Right.
But this is a young guy that's only played, his 4 years? Will be his 4th year? I think he's been NFL 3 years, I think. Now, I might be wrong on that. but I'm thinking this is his third NFL season.
Sounds like it would be. I think Fields has been in the league 4 years.
Okay, and then it could be
3 years.
3
I'm
years.
sorry. Yeah, it's 3 years.
3 years. So I mean, yeah, he's relatively young. I mean, he's probably 24 years old, 25. Yeah, you definitely teams going to.
Yeah, he's 24. Fields is 24.
That's like getting a rookie, and now you can see if you can work with him. You know, now will he be put on a team that he got to go right in and start? I think he needs to sit behind somebody and learn, because you can see that he's not up to the standard of the NFL game.
Well,
but he's going to make big plays just because of his overall talent, athleticism. He's going to do that, but he just does some things. You can see that it's got to be corrected, and it can be. He's young.
He's in his third year. His actually his overall completion rate is 61%. He's thrown for almost 5,700 yards. This is his career. He's got 36 touchdowns, 27 interceptions. This year he's got 12 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He did bring the Chicago Bears down, made the big pass to win the game on Monday night. Do you think, though, I know this maybe is not related, but it might be related. I've watched Chicago Bears play. Since they got Montez Sweat from Washington and that defense, I think that not only has the team played better, I think since the defense is playing better, I kind of think Justin Fields is starting to play a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean,
I know he's got some rough edges.
Yeah, he makes bad decisions in unopportune time. That's really what stands out.
He has some
percentage is good. It's when you make bad decisions in big moments.
Right.
Those things, you could just do 4 of those, and the rest of it has been great. Those things stand out when they're in big moments, and that can land you on the bench.
I think they've said that they've got, rumor has it, I love rumors, that there are 10 NFL teams that are willing, that want him, that want to trade for him.
Well, just think of any team that.
Look at your quarterback play now. Look at all the backup. But really think if I was an NFL team and I see Justin Fields out, some of that team, Chicago's offensive line wasn't that great, especially when he started, when he was at 22 years old, his rookie season. He was running for his life a lot. Mm-hmm. We saw a lot of that. And he was young quarterback. He seems to, I think he looks like he's playing better now. He had a rough game Monday night, but the great thing, he made the play when he needed to, and he got them down the field to kick the field goal. Chicago is going to be a funny team because with their defense getting Montez Sweat in, it's going to help the offensive side of the ball. And it's going to be interesting to see how they play out the rest of this season. Mm-hmm. Just like I said, I'm going to like to see, ultimately, they look like they're going to move on from Fields, but I want to know where he lands, because I think there's going to be a lot of teams wanting to trade for him.
Yeah, I mean, all you got to do is look at teams that need quarterbacks or had injury or big things that happen. They're going to be interested. I mean, that's just normal, and he's young. But he's not going to, I can't see him like with Buffalo or Kansas City look at him.
No.
Absolutely not. But you can look at the other teams. With the Jets, yes.
Potentially the
Patriots with yes.
The Jets,
you could go on and on.
If the Patriots don't end up with one of these quarterbacks, because the Patriots might be one of the worst teams in the league with Carolina, then they will probably have the second pick overall. Yeah. The Patriots, Belichick may not even be their coach. That's maybe where Kraft goes out, brings in the offensive guru or something, and they look to draft maybe Drake May or Caleb Williams, depending on what the Bears ultimately do.
Yeah. But, those are the places. He can end up in a lot of different places that would take him.
The Giants have a year left with Daniel Jones.
But they would take him.
I think the Giants would take him in a New York minute, especially New York minute. Bottom line is you got Daniel Jones coming off an ACL.
Yeah.
He should be ready sometime middle part of next season, but ACLs are funny.
Right.
They have a year left on his contract, a lot of money, but do they make the trade?
I think them in Washington could always look. I mean, Sam Howell's okay, but you never know.
Right.
If Philly's not going to look, Dallas is not going to look.
No.
They don't need to look. But you could go down the line. You go over another division, Minnesota.
Kirk Cousins coming off.
Well, I think he's not going to be back there anyway.
No, I agree with you.
Even if he was not injured, I don't think he's coming back to Minnesota. Somebody's going to get him right away. So, I mean, those are teams that's going to be.
Okay, let's go down real quick. Miami, no.
Nope.
Buffalo, no. The Jets they have Rodgers for one more year.
Yeah, that's why they still do it.
Will they yes. New England, probably not, because they're gonna be in a position to draft one of these younger quarterbacks. So, okay, throw them. The Ravens, no. The Steelers.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio on westernreserveradio.com.
Please stand by for a special presentation of Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
Sophomore to junior, I can see it's a pleasant surprise with the numbers that he's put up. Again, we talked about 65% completion percentage in closing in on 2,000 yards through the air on the season. He'll probably have that after the first possession of the ball game, but he can do it with his feet as well. And I always go back to the dual threat quarterback that, it just causes defenses so many different problems. It puts so much pressure on those outside linebackers, those rush ends, to really stay home, play your keys. When you've got a multiple different backfield set, it can really throw you off guard. But one of the things that I didn't get to mention about for the defensive line for this Marion local team, they are active as well. One guy you got to keep your eye on is Simon Partington. 79 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. He's an active guy. When you talk about juniors, seniors, having a deep senior class, that's really not the case here offensively for Coach Tim Goodwin and his offense. But when you get pleasant surprises, you roll the dice, and obviously it's gotten them here this far, so you know that these guys are at least capable.
Just under 7 minutes until kickoff for this Division 7 state championship. We're going to step aside. We pause for these messages from your local station. You are listening to the OHSAA Radio Network.
You may think seatbelt laws are no big deal. Well, you couldn't be more wrong. Cops are cracking down day and night in the city, in the country, and all points in between. Make no mistake, if you don't buckle up, you will get caught and you will get a ticket, even if you've gotten away with not buckling in the past. Things are about to change. Cops are serious about seatbelt safety, so don't kid yourself. Buckle up every time or get a ticket. Click it or ticket. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
What do basketball, choir, drama club, and marching band all have in common? They're all high school activities that offer learning opportunities not necessarily found in the classroom. They take up just a fraction of a typical Ohio high school's budget, and they go a long way to giving young people the tools they need to thrive. High school activities, they're more than extracurricular. They're extra important, too. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hey, it's Kirk Herbstreit from ESPN. Football has played a big part in my life, but football's also a lot more than just big plays, wins, losses, and championships. Football teaches young people about dedication, sacrifice, teamwork, and overcoming adversity. So let's respect the game and get out and support your local school. You'll be amazed of all the good things you see happening at Ohio schools.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the OHSAA Radio Network.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
The Dalton Bulldogs have come running onto the field to the ovation of their fans on the far side. They're wearing white uniforms with black numbers outlined in orange. Maria Stein Marion Local running in from the left side of Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium as well. They're wearing gold pants, blue jerseys, gold numbers, and those familiar gold helmets there on the near sideline. And we are getting very, very close to kicking off this OHSAA Division 7 state championship matchup between those Dalton Bulldogs and the Maria Stein Marion Local Flyers. The color guard out on the field in the middle of the field, right on the Hall of Fame logo, and we are just moments away from the national anthem, so we are going to stay right here, but I'm going to stop talking, and we can celebrate America together with the singing and playing of our national anthem.
Equality and world peace for all. You are invited to stand if you are able and join in singing our national anthem. Presenting the colors is the Newark High School Junior ROTC.
The national anthem presented by the Maria Stein Marion Local Marching Band. A fantastic job as always. And TJ, just one of the many reasons I love high school football is the pomp and circumstance, getting the entire school involved, including the marching bands on a special day like today.
There's nothing like it, partner. When I walked into the stadium today and I saw the Dalton Bulldogs marching band snapping on the snare drums as they were walking up the street, coming up Hall of Fame Village Way, making their way into Tom Benson Stadium, it gives you chills, man. And it's almost like it's leading the group into battle, so to say. And, you know, when I talked about this Dalton team, one of the key points I forgot to mention was when we talked about skill. When Coach Goodwin talked about the skill that Coach Brock Dial's team has, they're not going to throw it at you all the time. You know that Grayson Siders with 29 TDs and Sammy Tomlinson with 18 TDs on the ground, that they're going to be the go-to guys. But keep your eye on guys like Cade Mullet and also Brady Hignite. You know, these guys are just active. You want to talk about what Cade does on defense, 8 interceptions on the season. When you look at Hignite and those two combined, both over 500 yards of total offense, both have 5 and 4 touchdowns respectively, 5 for Hignite. These guys are both capable. When you start to look at let's just call it the chess match of a football game, we know it's not rocket science. The run opens up the pass opens up the run. When you start to put some guys into the box, if you're Coach Goodwin and the Marion Local defense, don't be surprised if Coach Brock Dial pulls the trigger and dials up Mullet or Hignite.
Let's head down to the sideline one more time before we kick it away. And Ryan Baker. Ryan, talk a little bit about the field conditions as well as who won the toss.
Guys, is this actually December in Ohio? I mean, what's going on down here? It's 48 degrees, a slight breeze, supposed to get up to about 52. There are a couple spits of rain right now, but I don't think we can complain about this. A couple things real quick, guys. I saw when these teams ran out, Marion Local, they're here every year, but they were still fired up and down. I sensed a quiet confidence with the Bulldogs. Very fun, very interesting to see in their first trip here.
That's great stuff, Ryan. Thank you. And yeah, coming in on 30 from the west to the east, we drive right through Dalton, and every store, every entity with a marquee had something to say about the Dalton Bulldogs, whether it was the bank or the gas station or the car dealership. They were all saying, "Go Bulldogs, win state." So the entire town is behind these Dalton Bulldogs. But Maria Stein Marion Local is a formidable opponent, as their 15-0 record and multiple state championships should attest. They won the toss, and they deferred to the second half, so they are going to be kicking it away. Stepping to the tee in just a moment will be number 11, Carson Bills, a 5'10", 155-pound junior, and he will kick it away to the Dalton Bulldogs as we kick off the 2023 OHSAA Division 7 State Championship. Here comes Bills, puts his right foot into it. It's a end-over-end kick that will skip at the 2 and go into the end zone for a touchback. Dalton gets it 1st and 10 on their 20. Dalton's offensive starters look like this. Number 4, Colin Pearson is a senior. He's the quarterback. Grayson Siders is the running back. He wears number 23, also a senior. Jace Eberly, Caden Mullet, Brady Hignite, all wide receivers on this team. Tight end is Caden Russell. Then you've got the offensive line of Matthew Heatwall, Grayson Lehman, Cohen Riggenbach, Colin Jones, and Trenton Hurt. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line as Colin Pearson is in the shotgun. He's got Siders to his left. He takes the snap. He rolls out. Now he pitches it forward. A little confusion, and very quickly taken down is number 22 for the Bulldogs. That's Sammy Tomlinson, who carried that for the first time, and Tomlinson goes nowhere. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
One thing you don't want to do is get too cute when you come out here, starting things off, having a lot of different backfield action, some different moving parts as you're just coming out trying to get your team for the first ever time in a state championship game. Give them a little, we'll call it a softball. Lob one up here and just get some offense going and stay ahead of the chains.
Corey Wenger comes into the ball game. He wears number 1. He's a 5'11 junior for Dalton. He is wide to the left. Handoff up the middle. This time it's like, no, the quarterback keeps it himself. He gets to the outside, picks up 3 before being driven out of bounds. So little chicanery there on the offense as Colin Pearson fakes the handoff, goes to the right side, gets 3. It'll be 3rd and 7.
There's one of those layups for you because you can allow Grayson Siders to work his magic as he pulled both of us off of a partner. You see the quarterback just reading that defensive end. He said, you know what? He's closing down the line of scrimmage. Let me pull it. Let me pick up a nice little chunk.
So 3rd down and 7 from the 23-yard line, just underway in this Division 7 state championship. 11:15 on the clock, and the clock is stopped after he ran out of bounds, did Pearson. Man goes in motion from the bottom to the high side of the formation. Pearson takes the snap, looks to throw. He throws out into the side, and he's very close to a 1st down. The pass is completed to Grayson Siders. Sorry, once again, that's number 22. That's Sammy Tomlinson, and they're going to go ahead and move the chains. He got to the 30. That's what he needed. 1st and 10, Dalton.
Boy, how about the motion you called from him, partner, coming all the way from the bottom of the field. He makes his way all the way to the sticks. Great route to be able to know where he was getting to allow them to move the chains and get a fresh set for the offense.
And I don't mean to be silly about it, but how big a deal is it to get your first down in your first state finals game?
Big time. Big time confidence booster right here.
10:40 to play in the first quarter. Pearson goes up under center this time, at least to call the offensive line. Now he's going to stay there. Man comes in motion from the top to the bottom, but before something can happen, a timeout is taken on the field by the Dalton Bulldogs. They would rather have it right than make a mistake this early in the ball game, so the Bulldogs take a timeout. Their first of the first quarter. Let's go to the sideline quickly. And Ryan, as the game starts to unfold, how's the atmosphere down there?
It is electric, guys. I'm over here on the Dalton. Like I said, this moment isn't too big for them. This Marion local defense is fast and swarming, but that throw by Pearson was a dart.
Pearson showing off his right arm early, and I think, TJ, when you get a chance to be in this situation and you're able to run, you're able to throw, everything kind of works right out of the chute except for maybe that first play. It gives you a little confidence that, yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, especially after we know on the backside of it being a little bit of slick the day before, even though it's not raining down there now, that black crushed rubber pellet that lays underneath this field surf turf it's going to give you a little bit of an issue. So for Colin Pierce, that's good to have him get comfortable with throwing the football.
Pearson stepping up under center. Now the official blows the whistle and puts his hand up. The referee for today's game is Lawrence Bass III. He's from Warren. He's the man in the white hat, keeping things civil down there on the field. 10:32 to play. 1st and 10 from the 30. Pearson under center. And a flag flies. And it's going to be motion against Dalton, a 5-yard penalty. It'll be 1st and 15.
Well, those are the things right there early in the ball game, partner, that are going to start to bother you if you Coach Dial, because you just had to burn a timeout to make sure that you had it correct. You get up there to the line of scrimmage, and you don't get it correct, and you go back 5 yards. So you want to get that figured out here quickly, because Marion Local will take advantage of that.
Man comes in motion to the bottom side of the formation. That's the tight end, Caden Russell. Tight formation this time. Pearson under center. Takes the snap, pitch to the outside. Siders trying to get to the outside. He picks up about 4 before being driven out of bounds on the near sideline. So not a bad run on first down, but it only takes him to second and 11 after the 4-yard carry.
And again, consecutive penalties back-to-back here on the Bulldogs. You're going to get a hold on the left side of that offensive line. Correct me, it may be coming from the backside, which is one of those penalties, Chris, it doesn't even need to happen.
Yeah.
Siders already out over the left side of the offensive tackle. Somebody on the backside, I believe number 57, got called holding.
So they will move the football back again, erasing the 4-yard carry. And it's all the way back to the 20. First down. Actually, they're pushing it all the way back to the 15. It'll be first down and 25. Not an enviable position for the Bulldogs in their first offensive drive.
Got to apologize to the offensive line. It was actually tight end. We'll call them tight ends are part of the offensive line. Right. But Caden Russell gets flagged for the penalty. So get those hands inside and see if you can get a big piece of this back because you're deep behind the chains now.
Ball on the left hash mark. Pearson under center. Another tight formation. Siders in motion. They give the pitch to him. He tries to find a hole. Gets decent yardage across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. A pickup of 7. No laundry on the field this time. Sammy Tomlinson, the ball carrier.
You know, and that's really one of the advantages for Coach Brock Dial, because whether you're going with Tomlinson or Siders, you're not getting a drop-off from either guy. Both of them are pretty comparable in running style, both very physical. The one that has always stuck out to me, who's just come in for Tomlinson now, Siders, runs with a physical, nasty attitude.
Second down and 18 from the 22-yard line. Pearson in the shotgun. He's got a man to his left. Takes the snap. Hands it off. That's Siders. He goes to the right side. No, the pass is wide open to the tight end. Goodness gracious. Caden Russell. That was a great play-action fake and a good pass from Pearson to Caden Russell, who picks up the first down and more inside Maria Stein Marion local territory.
Working the play action off of Grayson Siders, and nothing makes me happier than the game of football when you see somebody do something wrong, you see somebody get flagged. Caden Russell did that just a few plays ago, and he makes up for it, and he gets the first down and changes field position for the offense. Great job by Pearson of getting that ball off, because there was some fire coming down his neck.
From second and 18 to first and 10 inside Flyer territory at the 41-yard line. Pearson sends Siders in motion from the bottom to the top. Now he looks to throw. It's a screen, and it was almost picked off. Right there was Landon Arling, the linebacker, almost got his hands on it.
Yeah, those are the ones that can be a little tricky when you talk about those tunnel screens. And, you know, Marion Local has really started to stuff a lot of guys into the box. They're going to start to loosen up just based off of what happened with the play action pass the play before. But tunnel screens with so many guys, linebackers just sitting there in the middle, they can be scary.
Second down and 10 from the 41. Pearson going up under center this time. Twins wide to the left side of the formation. Man comes in motion. That's Siders. Handoff. He plows across the 40 to the 37-yard line. A pickup of about 4. It'll be third down and 6 for Siders. Multiple players rotating in and out on the offensive line. That's one thing that was talked about prior to us going on the air, is that this Dalton team has enough players that they can match some of the substitutions. A lot of times these smaller schools have just enough players, but this team has plenty. Pass over the middle, too tall for the intended receiver, number 22, Sammy Tomlinson, and that'll bring up a fourth down and 6 situation. And decision time now for Coach Brock Dial.
Boy, I think you're really in that happy medium right here, partner. You're way too far out for a field goal. I don't know, punting-wise, you would like to try and pin your opponent down, but you're also in a spot where it's a fourth and manageable, we'll call it fourth and medium, to be able to try and pick this thing up.
During pregame, the kicker for Dalton, Cade Miller, was connecting from 40, but this would be much farther than that. Pearson in the shotgun, takes the snap, 4 wide. He throws against pressure. It's over the middle, and he overshoots his intended receiver, number 23, Grayson Siders, and that is a turnover on downs for the Dalton Bulldogs. Maria Stein, Marion Local, to take over.
When you look at the play design there, Chris, it's almost as though you had your running back streaking through the middle of the field, where on a fourth down situation, you may want to try and get it into the hands of those guys I talked about, maybe a Cade Mullet or a Brady Hignite, maybe somebody with more sure hands, and maybe set yourself up a little bit something easier than a 20, 30-yard pass downfield, and maybe just try and get to the sticks. Work what you did earlier in that possession.
So Marion Local comes out on offense. Justin Knopf, the quarterback, he's in the shotgun. He wears number 7. Takes the snap, tosses it. Left side, right side, breaking tackles across the 50, still on his feet to the 40, and taken down inside the 40. A tremendous run.
Drew Laws at 6 foot, 190 pounds, just ran like he was about 230 pounds. Luckily for the young man in the white jersey who was hanging on, he was able to hang on as he brought him all the way down to the ground, not after being pulled by about 10 yards.
We'll get to the starters of Marion Local here in just a moment, and there's an opportunity to do it as Dalton jumps offside. That'll be 5 free yards for Maria Stein Marion Local. The starters on offense for the Flyers: quarterback number 7, Justin Knopf. The tailback is number 25, Kyle Otte. Fullback number 46, Ethan Heitkamp. The flanker is number 34, Drew Laws, and number 15, Griffin Bruns. Split end is Victor Holscher. Tight end is Oliver Hulsman. We'll get to the rest right after this play. Man goes in motion, leaving this backfield. Make a quick pass to the outside. Caught, lots of room to run. That's number 25, Kyle Otte, who picks up good yardage out across the 25 to the 22-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Flyers on the offensive line. Kyle Ungren, Adam Winter, Colton Ahrens, Luke Webker, and Isaiah Muhlenkamp, with another split end being Andrew Pullman or Daniel Everman. So that's the starting offense for the Flyers. 1st and 10 from the 22. After the pass to the left flat that picked up good yardage. Fake handoff, pass to the outside. Room after the catch. Number 2, Victor Holscher is the receiver. He gets across the 20 to about the 16-yard line. Good yardage on that first down play.
Boys, we talked in the pregame about only 2 seniors on this offense for Marion Local. They do not look like a young group. This, after just a few plays of their first possession, they look like a very efficient, controlled offense, and they are dialed in.
7:12 to play in the first quarter. No score, but the Flyers are threatening. Handoff left side. Number 34, Drew Laws, was the ball carrier, and he got bottled up after really just maybe a loss of 1 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 5.
Trying to work like a little bit of that old wing T action there with a little bit backdoor action. Colin Jones, the big offensive lineman, now playing over on the defensive line. Typically, these guys rotate a lot across that defensive front for Dalton. He stays home, sheds off the block, makes a huge play.
Under center is Knopf this time. I formation in the backfield. Knopf takes the snap, rolls out to the right side. Looks like an option play. He keeps it, and then he goes down. Nicely pursued by the Dalton defensive line, including number 72, Grayson Lehman, who was first on the scene.
Again, we talk at the D7 level, D6 level, guys going both ways. And there's Grayson Siders, a guy who's going to get it done for you offensively. He's going to be there. But one of those guys at the linebacker spot, you can count on him for 10 to 15 tackles a game. He's going to have to leave the game right now, I believe, for an equipment malfunction. Just his towel coming off. We'll see if they let him stay. They're not going to let him stay in.
Yeah, he's going out and being replaced by another one of his offensive compatriots. Number 22, Sammy Tomlinson, comes in. Knopf in the shotgun this time. Laws to his left. Long cadence, handoff. Nope, keeps it himself. Doesn't Knopf. He throws to the outside. Complete. Breaking 1 tackle, breaking a 2nd tackle before sliding up the left sideline and going out of bounds. That was number 25, Kyle Otte, on the reception, and that moves the chains for the Flyers.
Yeah, that's a huge pickup for Marion Local, and you can almost, set your hat to it that you pull one of your players out like Grayson Siders, a guy who can go sideline to sideline at the linebacker position, and you get out on the perimeter. The Flyers did, and they were able to find that crease down the sideline.
5:58 to play. The clock is stopped as the play went out of bounds. 1st and 10 from the 11. Knopf in the shotgun. Laws with him in the backfield. Handoff, left side. Cross the 10 to the 8. Laws picks up 3. It'll be 2nd and 7.
You can tell Law's really a physical runner, likes to put his head down. He's just going to bury in there between tackle and guard and find his way in and kind of use that leg strength that he has to keep turning those legs to pick up an extra few after contact.
Under center this time is Knopf. Man comes in motion from the left side. Pitch to the outside. That's Adi. He's across the 5. He breaks a tackle. He's to the end zone. Touchdown, Maria Stein, Marion Local. Kyle Adi from 7 yards out into the end zone, and the Flyers strike first.
Adi's spot on with his average. He averages 7 yards a carry on the season. He's now gotten into the end zone 8 times, and that's a big one here to get the action kick started for Marion Local getting off the board.
The place kicker is Carson Bills. The holder is Daniel Everman. The long snapper is Mitchell Ranley. The snap is good, the hold is good, and the kick. They're all good. And so, with to play in the first quarter, the Flyers strike first. They lead it 7-0. Let's pause for these messages from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network, brought to you by Chocolate Milk.
Here's to the ones who put in the work, the no days off, rise and grind warriors who live by the oath of my body is my temple. And when their temple needs to rebuild after a long workout, athletes of all types choose low-fat chocolate milk. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. Chocolate milk turns Motivation Monday into Flex Friday. Crush your goals with the help of a real recovery drink. Try it for yourself. Built with chocolate milk. The official beverage of high school sports is brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast.
Spectrum News 1, a new kind of news channel dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the Buckeye State. With your local forecast every 10 minutes and all of the essential news you need 24/7. Plus, in-depth shows and exclusives focused on your community. Always Ohio, always refreshing, always on. We are Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Hi, I'm Beanie Wells. Whatever the sport, wherever it's played, there's one thing that student athletes, coaches, and fans can all share: sportsmanship. The Ohio High School Athletic Association Respect the Game campaign reminds us that school sports are so much more than wins and losses. On behalf of the OHSAA, let's all do our part to make school sports a fun, positive, and rewarding experience that student athletes will remember for a lifetime. Every game, every time, let's all respect the game.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Get state tournament photos, programs, apparel, DVDs, and more in the OHSAA Fan Guide. Find it at ohsaa.org.
5 minutes, 18 seconds to play in the first quarter. Maria Stein, Marion Local strikes first. They lead it 7-0 over the Dalton Bulldogs. Kyle Adi on a 7-yard touchdown run. Ryan Baker, you've got more on Mr. Adi.
Yeah, we talked pregame about how Marion Local, it's community and family. Well, Kyle Adi's dad was a Flyer. He's also an assistant coach on this team. He had 4 uncles that were Flyers and his older brother Peyton as well. So blue and yellow is just in the water in the Adi family.
Thanks very much, Ryan.
How about that guy down there, man? Just dropping in little golden parachute nuggets, man. You gotta love that.
Yeah.
Guy's on top of his game, man.
Yeah, I just want to sit back, open up a coffee, and listen to the guy.
Maybe have a chocolate milk.
That's right. Carson Bills to kick it away for the Flyers, as there is more work to be done with only 5:18 remaining in the first. Plenty of football still to be played. Dalton about to take over on offense for their second possession. Bills puts his right foot into it. This one's a shorter end-over-end kick that'll be received at the 5-yard line by number 13. That's Cade Mullet. Mullet gets up near the 20-yard line before being taken down. He's inside the hash marks, and that's where Dalton will take over. 1st and 10 on their second offensive possession. Let's take a look at the Marion Local defensive starters. Defensive end number 59, Kyle Ungren. Nose tackle is number 36, Simon Partington. Then other DE was number 58, Wyatt Greenwood. The linebackers are Drew Laws, Ethan Heitkamp, Landon Arling, and Mitchell Ranley. We'll get to the rest right after this snap. 1st and 10, 5:12 to play. Snap, and we've got flags and false start against Dalton. And once again, they're going to find themselves behind the chains early in this drive.
4 penalties for Coach Brock Dial's football team here in this first quarter, and that's not going to get it done against an experienced powerhouse like Marion Local. They're going to have to find a way to get it figured out offensively here. You know, if you have trouble just getting lined up, you're going to have a struggle the entire ball game.
No question about it. The defensive backs for Marion Local: Andrew Pullman, Daniel Everman, Griffin Bruns, and Carter Jones to finish out the defense. Man goes in motion. Handoff. Nope, quarterback keeps it. Now the pitch is out, and the ball is on the turf. Diving and recovering is number 13, Cade Mullet, but another ill-conceived play in which the option had them well behind the chains, and then the pitch didn't make it to the intended pitch man.
Well, for their second possession of the ball game, they are now facing, again, a situation where they were over 20 yards to get to the line to gain. So it's just not going to get it done. You got to figure out a way to get some offense produced, especially with your back to the goal line now.
The last time they faced this, they hooked up with Caden Russell for a big pitch and catch. This time, Pearson just takes a quarterback sneak up the middle, and he picks up a couple of yards, but it's going to be third down and forever for the Dalton Bulldogs with the ball sitting on their own 11-yard line. Third and 18. As Pearson looks to the sideline to get instruction. We'll pause for station identification right after this play. Pearson takes the snap, quarterback draw. He goes left side, and again, bottled up quickly. The first man on the scene to make the tackle is Simon Partington, the 5'10", 200-pound senior, and that brings up fourth down and 16 from the 13. Before the punt, let us pause 10 seconds for stations to identify themselves on the OHSAA radio network.
This is the radio home of the best high school sports in Youngstown. We are Sports Radio 1240 WBBW Youngstown, a Cumulus media station.
In Baker, I'm Chris Solwecki. Aaron Cassidy is our producer today. The snap on the punt is good. The punter is Will Carmichael, and he gives it a boom. It's taken down at the 50-yard line. Oddie makes a couple men miss. He reverses field. He's into Dalton territory across the 40 to the 37-yard line. So Kyle Oddie, maybe the 36, catches it, shows elusivity, goes to the left side and picks up good yardage, and Maria Stein Marion Local will have it first to 10 inside Dalton territory.
Caught it over his back, over his shoulder to boot. I'll tell you what, that ball could have been all the way down at the Marion Local, we'll call it 44-yard line, but the elusivity that you talked about, allowing number 23 Audi to get a little crease and find some extra yardage after contact, that's big. Keep your eye on number 64, that's Colin Jones for the Dalton Bulldogs. He is not feeling well right now, limping around on the field.
Knopf takes the snap from the shotgun. He passes, and it is complete to the left side, the right side across the 20-yard line. That pass is complete to number 2, Victor Holscher. Holscher, a 6'2", 170-pound junior wideout, and that picks up a first down inside the red zone at the Dalton 15.
As I mentioned, Colin Jones, he's going to leave the field now. His backup will come in, and he could not even rush over top of left tackle on that play. So that's going to be a big loss, a two-way star for Coach Brock Dial.
Twins to the left side of the formation. Rolling that way is Knopf. He throws, and it's incomplete. It skips in front of his intended receiver, who is number 10, Andrew Pullman. Let's tell you who the defense is for the Dalton Bulldogs, at least the starters. Colin Jones, who we just referenced, went off the field. He is still off, but he's one of the starters. Caden Russell is a defensive end. Matt Von Bonnen, Grayson Lehman, defensive tackle. Sammy Tomlinson and Cade Miller, along with Alex Hess and Gavin Annan, are the linebackers. We'll tell you the defensive backs in just a moment. Knopf takes the snap, hands it off, right side. Oddie across the 15, hit hard and driven out of bounds at about the 13-yard line. So a short run, but positive yardage for Kyle Oddie and the Maria Stein Marion Local Flyers. The rest of the defense for the Dalton Bulldogs, and the defensive back, it's Cade Mullet, Coy Wenger, and Brady Hignite, cornerbacks and one safety. Knopf huddles them up, and they step to the offensive line. The ball sitting at the 13-yard line. Third down and 8. Man goes in motion to the top side. Knopf with a pitch to Adi, the left side. Adi cuts it up inside. He's across the 10. At the 5, very close to the first down. I believe he's going to have it as they're walking in. They are. They're walking in at the 5-yard line. They're calling it first down and goal from the 5 for the Flyers.
Can I tell you the most impressive thing about that play right there is that the quarterback just went and got a pancake block on 6'4", 290-pound Grayson Lehman. You got to love that. Not only does he turn from coming out under center and pitch the ball, he comes out as a lead blocker. You got to love that from your Q.
No question about it. Coach talked about his running and the things that made him surprised, but being a team player, doing whatever it takes, that's the situation that makes Knopf so impressive. Knopf, this time he's going to keep it himself. He goes right side on a quarterback draw across the 5 down to the 1-yard line, just shy of the end zone. It'll be second and goal after the 4-yard carry by Justin Knopf. 1:12 to play in the first quarter. 7-0. Flyers on top, and they're threatening again. Man in motion. That's Adi. Knopf takes the snap, hands it off to the deep back. Number 46, who takes it to the house, Ethan Heitkamp for the touchdown. The 5'10", 175-pound junior plows over the left side of his offensive line, and Maria Stein, Marion Local, now leads by 2 touchdowns, 13-0.
Saw Coach Tim Goodwin insert a little bit of a big boy package there. He brings in Bryant Meyer for a little bit of extra blocking on the left side of the line. You also see number 36, the guy we talked about in the open that does a big part of the defensive line work. Simon Partington comes in and leads Ethan into the end zone.
The snap, the hold, and the kick are all good. And with 55 seconds remaining in the first quarter, the Flyers lead the Bulldogs 14-0. So, TJ, we've seen almost 12 minutes go by. We've seen what the Flyers can do on offense, and that's not surprising. But what are some keys? What are some things that stand out to you after this first quarter of action?
Well, the one thing I know is when you're playing a team like Marion Local, you cannot afford to go down 14, 21, potentially nothing. You know, there are certain teams that you can dig yourself a hole with and potentially get back out of it. Marion Local is not one of those teams. The biggest thing that sticks out to me is the efficiency and the way they operate their offense. In the first possession of the ball game for them, they were only faced with 1 third down situation while driving 60 yards down the field on their way to an Adi touchdown. So, you know, for Doubt, they're going to have to figure out a way to compensate for now losing number 64, Colin Jones. Somebody's going to have to step up in some form of resistance to slow this run game for the Flyers.
The OHSAA Radio Network would like to welcome our great affiliates, including Bucyrus, WQEL 92.7 FM, and Defiance, WONW AM 1280. A reminder that all the OHSAA Network broadcasts are available on your computer, tablet, or mobile device by logging on to the OHSAA Radio Network page at ohsaa.org. Just about ready to kick it away is Carson Bills. We'll mention some more of our outstanding affiliates as we roll along today. Bills kicks this one very short, end over end. It'll be received at the 8-yard line. To the 15, to the 20. Looking for space. Trying to spin out, but a really nice job on the tackle by number 3, Carter Jones, who stops the runner in his tracks. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 23-yard line. And their number 1 responsibility in this drive, I would think, is to stay ahead of the chains.
Yeah, and I think you got to take a shot at a guy like the guy who just returned the ball right there on that kickoff return, Cade Mullet. He's a big play type guy. We talked about the other one, Brady Hignite. I think within this possession, without a doubt, you have to take a shot of at least over 15 or 20 yards to look at one of those guys.
Empty backfield for Pearson. Man comes in motion. Handoff. That's Sammy Tomlinson, who goes right side, gets back to the line of scrimmage and no more. It'll be 2nd down and 10 on the run for no gain by Tomlinson. I'm sorry, that's Siders, the ball carrier.
Well, they still at least don't play behind the chains here. They get back to the line of scrimmage. Again, though, the run game, you can see that Marion Local is stretching everything out. The offensive tackles are not getting any movement at the point of attack. So, again, you got to find a way to take a shot here, already trailing 14-0.
Handoff, right side, across the 25 to the 28. And that is number 23, Grayson Siders, again, this time for decent positive yardage, but it brings up third down and about 5 to go. Call it 3rd and 4 from the 29-yard line as the clock hits triple zeros in the first quarter comes to a close. Maria Stein, Marion Local 14, Dalton nothing. We'll take a break and come right back. We pause for these messages from your local station. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Anthony Munoz. I didn't make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame by letting drugs and alcohol affect my ability to play. I brought my A game every time, and that's what you should do when sharing the road. That means never getting behind the wheel under the influence and wearing your seatbelt, because it's always the best defense against a drunk driver. So whether you're driving around town or to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, never let impaired driving take you out of the game.
This message brought to you by the Ohio Department of Public Safety.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Ohio. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever, so take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Want to know what I like best about high school sports? I love watching my son run on the field. I love the fact that since he's been playing high school sports, he's making better decisions. And I love knowing that with the proper equipment, education, conditioning, and coaching, high school sports here in Ohio are safer than ever before. And that's something I really love.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Maria Stein, Marion Local 14, Dalton nothing as the second quarter is about to get underway. We've switched ends of the field, so now Dalton moving from left to right on your radio dial or internet browser or whatever your choice of listening to today's broadcast is. Pearson steps to the shotgun. He's got twins to the high side of the formation at or beyond the hash marks. He's got one to his right, takes the snap. Hands it off. Big hole up the middle across the 35. Siders gets to the 38-yard line, and that's going to be enough to move the chains. A big-time play on third down.
You know, a must-have third down right there, already in the hole, -2 scores to Marion Local. So for Siders to be able to get that full head of steam and get a fresh set of downs, give more breathing room to the offense, allow Pearson to have maybe some different options. As we see Colin Jones come back out onto the field, the injured offensive lineman still hobbling, still trying to push his way through it. They're going to bump him down to the right guard spot. But I'll tell you what, if you can't put any pressure on that thing, don't see or expect a whole lot off the right side.
Pearson keeps it himself. He bounces to the outside. He's across the 40, gets hit hard and dropped at the 45-yard line. But a good play action there for the Dalton Bulldogs that picks up good yardage on first down. Let's quickly go to the sideline and Ryan Baker.
TJ, I was right here for that last play. He's out here, but he can't hardly move at all. He kind of tried to pull, but he's just, I don't know if it's the best thing to have him in the game right now because he really can't move on that leg.
Yeah, when do you get to the point where you say you got to go with the backup over a guy who might be your leader? He's not getting anything done.
Second down and 3. He's in there again in that right guard spot. Man goes in motion from the bottom to the top. Pearson keeps it, throws over the middle on a little bit of a jump throw, Not quite Tim Tebow-esque, but similar to what Tebow used to do, taking a few steps forward and then making the throw. He completed it to number 23, Grayson Siders, who moved the chains inside the 45 at the 43-yard line.
I love the play design. It was a good job by Colin Pearson getting that ball off quickly. Again, you're getting a strong pass rush from the Marion Flyers, and now I'm getting nightmares of sitting on the sideline losing a national title game 41-14 and seeing a little Tim Tebow in my dreams doing the jump pass.
I'm sorry. That's all I can say. Pearson in the shotgun takes the snap. He's going to keep it himself on a quarterback draw. Goes left side, but he gets hit hard. Goodness gracious. There to take him down was Landon Arling, and Arling showed no mercy when he took the tackle. 2nd down and 8 after the 2-yard pickup by Pearson.
You're going to have another injured Downton Bulldog coming off the field. That's number 20, Connor Morey. He's not a guy who really has gotten high reps or high carries, but utilizes maybe a decoy. He comes off with a bum ankle.
Morey, a 5'10 freshman. Handoff up the middle. Nothing doing. Maybe even a loss on the play as Siders, the ball carrier, got gobbled up by a sea of blue and gold.
Definitely a priority here for Coach Brock Dial to try and keep this drive alive with facing a long 3rd down situation here. You got to try and establish something you really would like to see after this possession, after moving the ball fairly well here throughout this series, getting some points on the board.
Pearson in the shotgun, empty backfield beside. Man goes in motion, that's Siders. Pearson looking to throw, he's in trouble, now he gets out of it. He rolls out to his right, he directs traffic, he's across the 40, skips one tackle and gets out of bounds at the 35, maybe the 34, we'll see where they spot it. Looks like the 35, and that's going to put him about 1.5 yards shy of the 1st down. And again, interesting decision. Interesting decision. Ryan Baker, you're down there.
Yeah, guys, I just was saying I was right here. I think that's a bad spot. I think he actually got that 1st down.
Well, you saw the far official, Chris, on the down sideline. He went to the 33-yard line, and then he stepped back to the 35, so instantly we thought maybe he did get it. But you got to go for it here.
Go for it they will. 4th down and 2. Pearson sends a big fella out wide. Number 54, Talon Gregor, and now timeout on the field.
I don't know if that was by design, but typically when you see that happen, I'm probably going to burn a timeout. But hey, I like where your head's at, Coach. I wish Coach Dressel or Jack Rose would have dialed that up for me, man.
We'll go ahead and take a quick timeout while this timeout's going on the field. Let's pause for our messages from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network, brought to you by Chocolate Milk.
KidsLinked.com is a one-of-a-kind family resource for parents to find local kid-friendly activities, family events, cool deals, and fun things to do. KidsLinked publishes helpful print and online family resource guides, hosts their signature Kids Fest family festivals, as well as the Columbus Children's Festival in June and the Learning Rocks Education Expo each November. Check out KidsLinked.com for all the information parents need in one convenient place. That's KidsLinked.com.
Practice hard, you play hard, you're always reaching for your goals. You reach for the next point, the next yard, the next win. Naturally gained, reach for low-fat chocolate milk. It has the fluids to rehydrate you, the right mix of protein and carbs to refuel you, and the vitamins and minerals to help you build strong bones and bodies. Fuel up with chocolate milk. For more information, visit drink-milk.com.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy in it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
This is former Buckeye Tyvus Powell. You're listening to the State Football Championships on the OHSAA Radio Network.
With Ohio State Buckeyes standout TJ Downing, I'm Chris Solwecki. Ryan Baker down on the field. Our producer is Aaron Cassidy. 8:58 to play in the 2nd quarter here of this Division 7 state championship. Maria Stein, Marion Local 14, Dalton nothing. Had a little trouble early on getting the ball moved forward, finding themselves way behind the chains, but have a little something going now. And TJ, if there can be a big play in the first half, this has got to be it on a 4th down and 2 situation.
Well, listen, if it's any play design like what we saw before the timeout, if you're failing to move the ball forward, maybe throw it to an offensive lineman. I don't think they're going to go with that same setup. To me, I go with Grayson Siders. You see him going right hip of the quarterback. He's your guy to pick up 2 heavy, strong yards. Number 23 has got to be the go-to here.
Got a wide receiver to each side of the formation. The one on the left side is way out there, and now they're going to send number 54, Talon Krieger, in motion again. So he is in motion. Here comes Siders to the outside. The pass, and plenty of room to run. That was a well-designed play as the pass is completed to number 10, Jace Everly, with number 54, Krieger, out there to set up the block.
Well, maybe he just thought he'd have too far to run to get out there on that screen block, so he's going to flex him out a little bit. But love the block out there on the perimeter. Not easy for a big guy to do, going against a guy that's guaranteed to be quicker than him. And he opens up enough of a crease. Tricky little play to run on 4th down. Again, I would have stuck with Siders, but great pickup and great play call by Dial.
They got it to the 22-yard line. That gives them the 1st down. Fake handoff to Siders. Now they're going to throw his way. Intercepted. Going the other way for Maria Stein, Marion Local. And this one, he's got one man to beat. Trying to get up the sideline, and to the end zone goes number 15, Griffin Bruns, the 6-foot junior safety who got the pick and the pick 6. Big-time play.
Chris, you just saw it. The quarterback was eyeing Siders as he came out of the backfield the whole way. And number 15, he got a gift. Hey, we're coming up on Christmas time. Colin Pearson just put one right into his hands. All he had to do was step in front of it. The rest was all footwork.
A more than 90-yard interception return for the touchdown. They're saying 80, so the catch was made somewhere around the 20-yard line. The extra point coming from number 11, Carson Bills. The snap, the hold, it's all good. And what a turn of events. The Bulldogs were threatening until they weren't. An interception by number 15, Griffin Bruns, all the way to the end zone for the score. And just like that, Marion Local leads at 21-0 with 8:18 to play in the second quarter.
And I think if Pearson could have got the ball out just a little bit quicker, Siders' head was turned, and you saw number 15 as Bruns just kind of sat there and waited. If the ball comes out quicker, I think Siders is able to get his hands on it, but just a little bit too long, loft in the air. It just hung for number 15 like a gift.
His eyes lit up. He had to make a little bit of an adjustment on the sideline to juke the quarterback, Colin Pearson, who is the only one between him and the end zone. He made that juke successfully and got to the house, as they say. 21-0. Marion Local leading with 8:18 to play in the second quarter.
Now you, without a doubt, not even midway through this second quarter, have to pull out all the stops if you're Coach Brock Dial to try and figure something out and get a score before the end of this half. We saw him flex out an offensive lineman. Maybe you got to go with some reverse stuff, but still I will go back to trying to find guys like Cade Mullet or Brady Hignite, your skill guys. Try and get into their hands. You've got to take a shot down the field. Hey, listen, we'll go back to that Florida-Ohio State game here real quick. You cannot beat a Marion Local team. You can't beat an SEC team by just lining up and running the ball. You dig yourself a hole. You have to have explosive plays. Coach Brock Dial needs to have that on this series, or they're going to fall away in this ball game.
An end-over-end kick that goes into the end zone off of the foot of Carson Bills, and so it's 1st and 10 for Dalton at their own 20-yard line. They've had a couple of decent drives. Statistically, the numbers aren't that far off between these two teams yet, but they've gotten behind the chains a few times, had a little trouble getting the ball down the field, and then a big turnover there on the interception as Pearson tried to make the completion, and instead it was picked and taken to the house by Griffin Bruns.
I don't know if you caught the comparison there, but did I just compare Marion Local to an SEC football team? Maybe they'll just be the Alabama of Ohio high school football teams.
Pearson rolls out. Now a shovel pass up front to Tomlinson. Tomlinson across to about the 24-yard line. So an interesting, well played offensive play to bring up a 2nd down and 6. A lot of moving parts in plays like that, though. You got to make sure everything happens exactly right.
And again, you're doing it with an offensive lineman that's a little bit banged up. We still see Colin Jones out there still struggling to even just get down into his stance, let alone walk back up to the line of scrimmage.
High formation for the Bulldogs this time. Man comes in motion from the top. Play action. Now Pearson running for his life. He passes to the outside, and that's going to be caught, according to the sideline official, by Mason Jones. by Caden Mullet.
Bruns was looking for consecutive INTs in a row. He was really feeling himself.
Let's go to the sideline. Ryan Baker, what'd you see, Ryan?
Guys, TJ's absolutely right. Griffin Bruns jumped a route again. That was a great job by Cade Mullet to wrestle that ball away from him and come up with the completion. Just an individual effort by Mullet.
6:59 to play in the second. Pearson looking to throw. Now he steps up in the pocket, tries to escape. He's back to the 20, and that's all he could do as the tackle was made, and the sack was committed by number 51, Adam Winter, the 6'1", 190-pound junior defensive end. 4th down and 10, and the Bulldogs will have to punt it away.
5th sack of the season. I'll tell you what, we talked about all the sacks. 11 guys on this defense with multiple sacks throughout the season. That makes 5 for Winter. And I'll tell you, the pressure that is being put on Colin Pearson, he's now running for his life.
Victor Holscher, Kyle Oddie back to receive the punt from Will Carmichael. Carmichael wears number 33. He's a senior. The punt gets away with little struggle, and it's a boomer. Caught over the shoulder near the 35. Coming up the left sideline, though, room to run. Cutting it back up inside to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown! Marion Local. Victor Holscher, a 65-yard punt return. Again, fielding it over his shoulder, almost driving him backward. But then he was able to weave his way through the defense up the left sideline in front of his teammates all the way to the house. And with 5:55 to play, Marion Local now leads it 27-0.
Well, I'll tell you what, I could sit here and watch Marion Local just field punts all day long, and it'd be exciting. Both of these punts that we've seen return, this one for a touchdown, both over the shoulder, both getting positive yardage, and you can set your watch to it through all of these state championship games this weekend. A big special teams play for that team usually results in a win, and Marion Local's off and running.
They are indeed. The snap, the hold, and the extra point by Carson Bill is all good. And so, with 5:55 to play in the first half, Marion Local 28, Dalton nothing. To the sidelines, and Ryan Baker.
Chris, you mentioned it there. That was a great punt, but it was too good. He outkicked his coverage there. A great job by Holscher going back and fielding that over his shoulder, but it kind of threw the punt coverage off. It was such a good kick, and then a couple of shake and bakes and make a guy a miss, and he's off to the races.
Yeah, that's a phrase we use a lot of times when we talk about the people we married, that we married up. We outkicked our coverage, but that's a real thing in football as well.
A little shake and bake from the shake and baker down there on the sideline. I do. I really do. Yeah, that was an impressive return. You saw how the wall was set up going down the Marion Local sideline. Again, when you catch it over your shoulder like that, you're able to turn, get a full head of steam, and all he had to do was make a cutback. But again, you always have to give credit to your blockers. The guys that are able to set up that return, set up that wall, get blocks without having a flag come out. Because how many times do we see it, Chris? On a great special teams return, you always set your eyes and look back to see where's the yellow flag at back there. So you love the cleanness of how this team operates. The Marion Local Flyers, they do not hurt themselves.
Dalton's last 4 drives, turnover on downs, punt, interception, punt. And Maria Stein, Marion Local, their last couple of drives have been touchdown, touchdown, and then there's been a interception return for a touchdown and a punt return for a touchdown. And it's 28-0. The kickoff by Bills goes into the end zone, so Dalton will take over 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. And perhaps the Bulldogs feeling it just a little bit as they were in this for a moment, and then, my goodness, the wheels fell off with 2 incredibly challenging plays in a row.
Yeah, we've seen them strike a little bit and as you mentioned, kind of threaten, but as they got close to the red zone there, the interception that was taken all the way back, that's a backbreaker. On top of that, a special teams touchdown, that's doubly.
Pearson hands off to Tomlinson, who goes left side. He picks up about 5 to the 25-yard line. Good run on first down. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Bulldogs.
We'll see if Coach Dial, as he continues to work back off of Tomlinson to Siders, when do we maybe get a shot again at Mullet or Hignite? Because as you're already threatening a running clock type situation.
Colin Jones continues to be out on the field for the Bulldogs despite being a little bit gimpy. He's in that right tackle position. Pearson under center. He sends a man in motion. Hands it off. Nothing doing. That's Siders who gets back to the line of scrimmage and no more. It'll be 3rd down and 5 from the 25 as he went right up the gut between the A-gap but didn't get anywhere.
You see 64 again coming from his guard spot, just not able to get any movement as they try and get him down onto the one technique, working alongside the center to try and move the young man we talked about, Simon Partington, who is just taking essentially 2 guys, the center and guard, stuffing them both in the hole, and you're trying to run through A-gap. There's nowhere for Siders or Tomlinson to go.
Tomlinson comes out into the flat. They throw to him. He slides trying to make the catch, but he's unable to do so. It's incomplete as that throw is too short of the intended receiver, and Pearson was under great pressure, so it brings up 4th down and 5. Timeouts, Marion Local has all of their timeouts as Dalton gets set to punt it away, and with 4:29 and all 3 timeouts, no reason to believe that Marion Local is going to do anything other than drive the field to the best of their ability. Will Carmichael to punt the football away. Last time he did this, Victor Holscher received it and took it back by 65 yards. And so before the punt, Marion Local is going to go ahead and take a timeout.
Carmichael needs to be very selective where he kicks this football. When you think about, as Ryan mentioned, kicking or punting that ball too well, you know, when you have both of those guys trying to set back up there for a return, and you know that Coach Goodwin is burning this timeout right now to make sure that they set up what they want to have happen, which was exactly what happened the last time Dalton had to punt the football. So don't be surprised to see another big return here if Carmichael hangs one high.
The OHSAA Radio Network would like to welcome our great affiliates, including Lima, WIMA 1150 AM, Marietta, WMOA AM 1490, Marietta, ESPN AM 630 and 92 FM, and Youngstown's WNIO, the sports animal, 1390. A reminder that all OHSAA radio broadcasts are available on your computer, tablet, mobile device by logging onto the OHSAA Radio Network page at ohsaa.org. A big-time punt that goes down inside the 15-yard line, and that's where Maria Stein Marion Local will take over.
Oh, good job by Carmichael booting it down there. And now we're going to see if the Dalton defense can try and affect this field position. If they can get some type of pressure into the backfield, if they can slow what Marion Local has tried to do, which has just been run, efficient, find a way to tuck in some short little passes, but with that full house backfield, Dalton's going to have to keep their eyes open here.
If I'm doing my math right, that's a 61-yard punt from line of scrimmage to line of scrimmage. That's getting it done by Carmichael. Handoff right side across the hash mark. They get across the 20 to the 15 to the 16. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Good job by the senior Grayson Lehman, number 72, squeezing down the line of scrimmage, not allowing that play to bust for more than 3 yards, only a 2-yard pickup. So this is a good start here for this Dalton Bulldog defense. And I believe we will have an injury stop. We're going to have Heatwole, I think, check out of the game.
Matthew Heatwole, Jr., and number 87, Caden Russell, comes in. Man in motion. Knopf takes the snap, rolls to the right side, looking to run. He's across the 20. He's got space. He's into the second level, across the 40 to the 50, and driven down out of bounds inside Dalton territory. Good tackle by Brady Hignite. He was the last line of defense, but a great run by Knopf on the quarterback draw for big yardage.
That could potentially be the backbreaker for this Dalton Bulldog team. I'll tell you what, if they could have slowed Knopf as he came around that right corner before finding that crease and put them into a third down situation, put the Flyers into that third down situation, this might be a different outcome, or at least give some confidence back, some little energy back to the Dalton sideline. They just lost it all right there.
Knopf actually stepped out of bounds inside Marion local territory at the 48. This time he passes to the outside. Complete to number 8, Daniel Everman. Everman makes a couple of men miss and gets across the 45 to the 41. This time inside Dalton territory. And Dalton on their heels here a little bit as they're playing defense. Another first down for the Flyers.
Kate Mullet tried to come in there and give Everman the tattoo shot, not wrapping his arms, and it allowed after contact a little bit of the yak as Everman was able to pick up at least an extra 5-6 yards after the missed tackle by number 13.
That punt return by Victor Holscher was the longest punt return in Division 7 championship history. Looking to throw is Knopf over the middle, and he's intercepted. Caught by number 5, Brady Hignite, who comes up the right sideline, gets taken down across the 30, but a big defensive play. The Bulldogs needed it in a big way, and they got one there. 1st and 10 for Dalton at their 32-yard line.
Well, now if Coach Dial is listening in on the headset here, we've talked about Hignite, we've talked about Mullet, maybe taking a shot at one of those guys. I think this would be the perfect opportunity after Hignite just comes in there and gets the interception. If you can take a shot at him downfield now and just give yourself some type of momentum back on your sidelines. I'll tell you what, looking at number 5 right now, we haven't seen him get looked at offensively. This would be the perfect time.
Pearson comes out. He's got Siders to his left. He's got trips to the high side of the formation. Takes the snap, rolls that way. Siders puts up a great block. The pass is intended for number 1, Coy Wenger, but it goes out of bounds. Unable to be caught by anybody. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, hey, maybe Coach Dial is plugged into us, man. He's got the OSHA radio network in one ear. He's got the offensive coordinator in the other ear. But I'll tell you what, 3 interceptions now on the season for Hignite. We know that he's explosive. We know that there's some different things skill-wise he can do. You have to do that type of stuff. You have to take shots trailing 28-0.
Man comes in motion to the left side. That's Jace Eberle. He's way out there beyond the hash marks. Pearson in the shotgun. He hands it off, and flags fly.
Colin Pearson on the carry.
Aaron Cassidy and Tanja Marshall will be with us at halftime from Visit Canton, so you want to stay with us for that, and we're about 2 minutes and 38 seconds away from that happening. Let's head down to the sidelines quickly, and Ryan Baker.
Hey, guys, just real quick. TJ's talking about Hignite there, and he comes up with that interception. He has a cast on his left arm. I wonder if that's maybe why they're not using him as much on offense.
Handoff right side, absolutely nothing going. Coy Wenger, the ball carrier, and he's stopped at the 25-yard line. Going in reverse are the Bulldogs, and it's going to be a long way to go on 4th down and 17, and Marion Local takes a timeout with 2:13 to play.
Boy, yeah, I really feel for number 64, Colin, man. You know, when you think about all the work that Colin Jones has put in, the senior, to get here, to get to this point, and you just want to be able to play healthy and be able to go out there and play your best brand of football, and he can barely put any pressure on that ankle. Now, you're giving the ball to Coy Wenger, and you're running over the right side of the offensive line, right where he's at. You know, for me, again, you get to a point as a coach where it's like, okay, if you can't go, I've got to go with a serviceable backup, because you can't even run the ball right now because you have an offensive guard in there that can't put any pressure on his foot. So how do you expect him to come down and block a guy like Simon Partington, who's been living in the backfield all season long? You got to get whatever's figured out here at the right guard spot tightened up here before this second half.
4th down and 17. Will Carmichael on to punt it away, standing at his own 14, now 13-yard line. He gets the snap. He punts it away. It's a good one. It's going to take a bounce and be fielded by Kyle Oddie. Oddie runs to the right side. He breaks a tackle. He's inside Dalton territory. Weaves his way back inside, and he's all the way to the 30-yard line before being taken down. So a big-time run by Kyle Oddie, who went right and then cut it back inside left and was taken down at the 30 for a big kickoff, or a punt return, I should say, and great field position for the Flyers.
Well, I'll tell you what, Coach Jim Tressel used to say the punt was the most important play in football. I think Coach Tim Goodwin saying the punt return is the most important play in football for his team. I'll tell you what, the return team, they have fully taken over in this ballgame. When you think about some of the yardage and the numbers that we'll see on the stat line at halftime, I'll be interested to see how Odie and his counterparts stack up.
Knopf in the shotgun, takes the snap, throws to Oddie left side. Oddie cuts it back up inside. He's at the 20, at the 15, spins out of a tackle at the 10, still on his feet, down near the 5, maybe inside the 5. Oddie just would not go down. Big time pitch and catch. Great run after the contact by Kyle Oddie. 25-yard catch and run by Kyle Oddie brings up first down and goal from the 3.
Boy, he is fun to watch. Wherever number 25 is on the field, he is impressive. That run right there after the catch, exciting.
Man in motion to the top side, out of the traditional under center format. There's a flag on the play. It's probably going to be a hold as Oddie went to the right side, could not get into the end zone. We'll have to see. Yes, indeed. It's going to be a hold called by the men in stripes, and that'll back the Flyers up by 10.
That's going to go against number 14, Landon Arling, who was the running back out there trying to set the edge behind the offensive tackle on the right side of the line. Got a little bit too much of that white jersey. Easy for the white hat to see.
So that'll back the Flyers up.
Offense, number 14. 10-yard penalty, previous spot. Repeat first down.
85 seconds to play here in the first half. 28-0. The Flyers.
Do you realize it's taken all this time in the first half to finally see the Flyers do something inefficient on offense? Probably the first negative play for them today.
Exactly right. They've been very, very efficient. They've been very, very forward progressing. And here's Knopf in the shotgun. He's got two running backs, one on either side of him. Long snap count. He hands it off right side. Not much happening for number 34 that time. That's Drew Laws. It'll be down at the 11-yard line.
Tackled by Grayson Siders. 2 yards, second down and goal for the Flyers.
Second and goal from the 11 for the Flyers. Right now, no danger of the running clock to start the second half, but if the Flyers score here, the second half will begin with that running clock situation. Looking to throw. Left side. Completes the pass to Oddie. Looking to the corner. Can't quite get there. Trying to get to the end zone. Taken down short at the 3. And a timeout taken on the field by the Flyers with 38 seconds remaining. That's their third and final timeout. So it's going to be third down and goal from the 2 with 38 seconds and no timeouts when we resume play just momentarily. Each team huddled up on their respective sidelines with their coaching staffs. While we have a moment, let's check in down on the sideline with Ryan Baker.
Guys, you know, this game is 28-0, but it really doesn't feel like that, honestly. And the Dalton players, they don't seem like it either. Like, they don't seem down. Their body language isn't bad. It still just seems like business as usual to them. It's just so hard playing this Marion local team anytime, but let alone for a first time, because they're so efficient in everything they do. You haven't seen anything like it before, and it's just tough to adjust to what they do.
Thanks, Ryan. Appreciate that. And yeah, when you talk about this Marion local team, you talk about the number of weapons they have and the number of options they have, TJ. It seems like you have to prepare almost for all 11 guys to touch the football. It's amazing.
Yeah, and again, when we talk about the efficiency of it, it's also, you talked about it being spread around. You know, we've seen Everman touch the ball. We've seen Oddie touch the ball. We've seen 34 Drew Laws touch the ball. We've seen the quarterback. He can sneak in and keep it.
Oddie goes in motion to the high side of the formation. Looks to pass. It's to Adi, who makes an incredible catch on a ball that was going to the turf, but he was unable to keep his feet. He goes to the turf and falls down. So it's going to be 4th down and goal from the 2. The clock continues to tick at 24 seconds. And a timeout taken by Dalton. So Maria Stein, Marion Local had no timeouts. It was 4th and 2 on the 2, and they were scrambling just to get a playoff.
I don't know if I'm Coach Dial if I really want to burn that timeout right there. If you're going to run up to the line of scrimmage. Now, for me, if I'm Coach Goodwin, I was going to bring my line right back up, put my quarterback under there, let that thing run all the way down to 2 seconds, snap the ball, and on 4th and 2, see what happens. If you score, you score. If you don't, you go to the half and you're up 28-0. But for Coach Dial, maybe you could hope that as we've seen that one miscue for this offense in this drive inside of the red zone when they were flagged, maybe you take a gamble thinking that they run up to the line of scrimmage, they're not set, maybe they get flagged, maybe they have a miscue, an exchange issue, and you're able to get a turnover. But if you don't like the way your defense is set up, that could be a gashing hole right between A-gap, where I'm pretty sure Coach Goodwin would have felt comfortable doing. But now he will look for that running clock situation.
Say now with the timeout taken, they're going to go ahead and kick the field goal because they have the chance to get the team out there with 23 seconds. So it'll be Carson Bills. The snapper is Devin Francis. The holder is Daniel Everman. They both do their jobs, and the kick is up and through by Bills. And so with 18 seconds remaining in the second quarter, the Flyers improve their advantage to 31-0. They have taken advantage of an interception. They've taken advantage of an interception pick 6 all the way to the house for 80 yards. They've taken advantage of a punt return for 65 yards, the longest punt return in Division 7 state playoff history. Just a lot of opportunities for all different parts of this Flyer football team, but they've taken advantage of every opportunity they've gotten to build this 31-0 advantage here with 18 seconds to go here in the first half.
Well, I guess if you've never seen them, if you've never called their game before, which I have not, but you just see the tail of the tape here and you see the 13 state championships, and if you wonder why, right? This is all starting at the turn of the century. In 2000, they kicked off that first state championship, rolling all the way here through now looking to be a 3-time defending state champ if they close this thing out, which it looks like they will. But you just understand, how do you do all of that within a 23-year span? It's coaching, and it's having players that are disciplined. They don't hurt themselves. They don't make mistakes. They're mistake-free and opportunistic on offense. They're relentless on defense. And right now, what they do have is superior special units.
Bill's about to kick it away. This is the third day of state championships here at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Bills puts his right foot into it, angles it to the left sideline, and it will skip out of bounds, so that's going to be an illegal procedure penalty against the Flyers. One of the very few mistakes made today, and that'll give the Bulldogs pretty good field position, only with 18 seconds and no timeouts. On Thursday night, it was Massillon, Washington getting a state championship over Archbishop Hoban. 7-2 the final score in that one. Division 6 started the day yesterday at 10:30. Kirtland over Versailles 32-15. The middle game was Toledo Central Catholic knocking off Bishop Watterson out of Columbus 27-7. And the nightcap last night, St. Ed's of Lakewood knocked off Springfield 31-21. Two more coming this afternoon after this one, as the quarterback Pearson takes a knee, and the two teams will go to the locker room. Coming up at 3 o'clock, it'll be Perry versus Liberty Center, and coming up at 7:30, Cleveland Glenville and Kettering Archbishop Alter. Let's head down to the sideline where Ryan Baker's with the coach.
Coach, obviously not what you wanted going into halftime here. What's the message to the kids here as we go into the half?
Yeah, just have some pride in what you're doing and come out and play hard and play as best you can in the second half.
Colin Jones got hobbled. How much is that hurting you?
Yeah, he's a very good football player and been banged up a little bit, and that's hurt us.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks very much, Ryan. 31-0. Maria Stein Marion Local leads Dalton. As we hit halftime, we're going to go ahead and take a timeout. We will come back with the halftime show right after this, but we pause first for these messages from your local station. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network.
Welcome to the home of Gridiron Legends, the newly renovated Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Walk among the immortals of football inside the Hall of Fame gallery. Here you can stand face to face with the men who built America's game. Relive the greatest moments of Super Bowl history in the Lamar Hunt Super Bowl gallery and stand before the Vince Lombardi Trophy, while the NFL Today gallery is home to the NFL's most recent record-breaking moments. Plan your visit to the Pro Football Hall of Fame today at profootballhof.com.
So why do teenagers play high school sports?
My reason why is a sense of purpose.
My reason why is to inspire others.
One reason student athletes seldom mention is to get an athletic scholarship. They know that only 2% of all high school athletes are awarded a sports scholarship. So why do they play?
My reason why is friendship.
Tell us your reason using the hashtag #MyReasonWhy.
This message presented by the NFHS and the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Let's take a time out to talk about educational athletics. That means the school sports are an extension of the classroom. Student athletes earn the privilege of participation in sports by succeeding during the school day first, before they put on the team uniform after. Student athletes prove that with better attendance records, higher GPAs, and fewer discipline issues than non-student athletes. That's what it means to be a part of the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
So when you get to the corner of Smith and Orchard, you're going to want to take a left.
You are not going to.
Then what you're going to do is turn onto Marcy
and Brad
Avenue.
just broke up,
and go past the first
apparently
3
she's
lights,
happy
and then
about
take
it.
the next left.
I don't really
then
think
drive 5
she's
more
happy,
blocks,
but
and you should be
who
there.
am I to judge, right?
Park on the
Anyway,
right.
That's
I'll
what
see
I
you
heard
later
last
tonight.
night.
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Back here at halftime in our Division 7 state championship, it is Marion Local on top of Dalton in a score of 31-0. A big score at the end where Marion Local was able to get a hold, and then they were able to get a nice little field goal at the end and make it 31-0. That's big because the simple fact here is now we're going to have a running clock, and the second half gets short real quick with the running clock. So it is Marion Local doing what a lot of people thought they would do here at halftime, and they're up 31-0. Dalton, it was back and forth early on, and then Marion Local jumped out. We'll look at statistics and more here in a little bit. We'll remind you that this broadcast is a presentation of the Ohio High School Athletic Association Radio Network. Any commercial use, retransmission, or distribution without the express written consent of the OHSAA is strictly prohibited. The announcers, production staff for this game were selected by the Ohio High School Athletic Association, and satellite distribution is provided by the Skyview Network. For more information, log on to the OHSAA Radio Network at www.ohsaa.org. So our halftime score right now, again, 31-0. And Chris Sawicki had talked about a little bit coming into, as we await our halftime guest here, we will be joined by Tanja Marshall from Visit Canton. But it'll give us an opportunity to recap a little bit of the tournament so far. Again, it started off on Thursday night, 7 o'clock, a big, highly anticipated matchup, Akron-Hoban and Massillon. And it was the Massillon Tigers getting their first state championship as far as the playoffs go. They have some AP championships, but in the playoff area, they got that in a 7-2 score. It wasn't baseball. It was a defensive struggle between those two teams on Thursday night, and it was Massillon coming out on top, getting that state championship. Massillon was rocking on Friday night after that game. 7-2 the score there over Akron-Hoban. The Division 6 state championship kicked us off yesterday morning. It was Kirtland's over Versailles 32-15. And then we had a really good one last night early on. The score maybe not as indicative of how the game really went. Toledo Central Catholic won 27-7, but this was a 21-7 game, if you remember, in the fourth quarter. And then it was a pass that was thrown in the end zone. It was ultimately called a touchdown, but then reversed, and it made it 21-7. It kept it there instead of 21-14, where Watterson potentially could have got back into it. And then TCC scores at the end, making it again 27-7.
27-7. And then last night in our nightcap in Division I, the Friday night game, St. Ed's and Springfield, that was a dandy. Ultimately St. Ed's with the three-peat winning 31-21 on that. So that was really fun to see that Division I game. So, it's been a fun tournament throughout the weekend. We've had different people on talking about how the OHSAA continues to do things around sportsmanship. That was a big hit last night when we talked a little bit with the OHSAA and respect the game and everything that's going on with that. So we'll jump into some statistics here at halftime, but first we're going to take a timeout and come back with halftime statistics. It's 31-0. Marion Local on top of Dalton. We'll pause right now for these messages from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network, brought to you by Chocolate Milk.
Spectrum News 1, a new kind of news channel dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the Buckeye State. With your local forecast every 10 minutes and all of the essential news you need 24/7. Plus, in-depth shows and exclusives focused on your community. Always Ohio, always refreshing, always on. We are Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
Here's to the ones who put in the work, the no days off, rise and grind warriors who live by the oath of my body is my temple. And when their temple needs to rebuild after a long workout, athletes of all types choose low-fat chocolate milk. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. Chocolate milk turns Motivation Monday into Flex Friday. Crush your goals with the help of a real recovery drink. Try it for yourself. Built with chocolate milk, the official beverage of high school sports, is brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast.
You may think seatbelt laws are no big deal. Well, you couldn't be more wrong. Cops are cracking down day and night, in the city, in the country, and all points in between. Make no mistake, if you don't buckle up, you will get caught, and you will get a ticket, even if you've gotten away with not buckling in the past. Things are about to change. Cops are serious about seatbelt safety, so don't kid yourself. Buckle up every time, or get a ticket. Click it or ticket. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
You can stay in the game long after your playing days are done. Become an OHSAA contest official. Log on to ohsaa.org for more information.
Back here at halftime for our Division 7 state championship, 31-0. Right now, Marion Local on top in a game that they've dominated. If you look at statistics, which we'll jump into in just a second, but joining us right now is Jackson Lightcamp. He is with TKDS, who helps us a lot with the video and a great little partnership we have between the OHSAA Radio Network and you. But also, you have an opportunity, I know, to cover this Marion Local team at times. Your thoughts on the first half when you take a look? Probably not too surprising, right?
Yeah, not surprising at all, Aaron. And you take a look at what Marion Local and the Flyers have been able to do, not just this season, but even the last couple of seasons. They're going for 48 straight wins today. They're trying to get their three-peat. We saw them in the regional final against the number 2 team in the state of Ohio, the Ansonia Tigers. They won that game big, 48-0. It was a first-half battle, but Marion Local, when they make those halftime adjustments, they can run away with games. Just a dominant program down on the gridiron.
31-0. That is a big extra point at the end, the field goal. A lot of people are like, well, why are they using their timeouts? They're up 28-0. Coach's rules are, as far as the half goes, if you can get a running clock to start the second half, you do it, because that shortens the game a lot. possessions are going to be limited for Dalton here in the second half.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that the more you're up, the more reserve players you can get in. And that's exactly what great programs will do, because Marion Local, the culture is so great there. You get some reserves in, get them some experience playing in this state championship game. It'll only help them out better into next season as well.
So you talk about that, these runs that they go on, if they three-peat, they're already on the 2 straight. But if you go to a three-peat, think about that. We talk about that in these tournaments with a program like Marion Local. The younger kids, by the time they are seniors, they've practiced sometimes 1 or 2 extra seasons just in practice time, because you go the full 16 weeks.
Absolutely. I mean, full 16 weeks, and one of the coaches in the postgame conference yesterday was saying that NFL season, 17 games, you have a bye week. In the college season, you have 12 games plus a bye week. In the high school era, I mean, you play 16 straight games with no break at all.
No.
It is absolute, and most of these athletes, especially from some of these smaller schools, such as Downton and Marion Local, they're going to be going on to basketball season or wrestling season right after that. There is no true off season for these kids, but we all know it's good for these kids to stay busy out on the field.
While we have an opportunity, let's pause 10 seconds for stations to be able to identify themselves here on the OHSAA Radio Network.
This is the radio home of the best high school sports in Youngstown. We are Sports Radio 1240 WBBW Youngstown, a Cumulus media station.
With Jackson here, the practice and the extra reps that these kids get. Also, Ryan Baker touched on it in the pregame, where they don't play Little League football at Marion Local. They start at 7th grade. In fact, I was reading an article, even in the 7th and 8th grade level, it's not about winning. It's about developing players, and then all those kids want to come play. Over 80% of the kids in the school play for the games. You've been around the community and things. What has that been like for you?
Well, not to mention the fact that when you play Little League football, yes, it's great when it comes to development, but I think that 90% of the kids that play Pee Wee football are burnt out by the times they hit middle school and high school, the times where football actually matters. There's no scholarships that are being given out in Pee Wee football, Aaron, but when you're playing at the high school level, when you have everybody buying into the system, nobody's burnt out, and just as Ryan Baker mentioned in the pregame, over a quarter of the school enrollment is out here playing on the football team today. So really, you have kids that are not burnt out. When the time comes to compete and when it matters to play meaningful high school football, hey, you already have all the kids that you need.
Dalton, not far from here, making the trip. They made history by making it to the Final Four, made history, a big win last week against Caldwell. When you were just watching them a little bit in the first half, you know football, you get the play-by-play in the Dayton area. Just your thoughts on Dalton, just right now, not enough things going their way. Early on, TJ mentioned it, where if you are going to stick in a game like this, you can't be behind the chains, and they've been behind the chains a lot tonight.
Absolutely. And Downton, one thing that I liked seeing, especially to open up the game, they were moving the football downfield. They were able to sustain some drives. It was just they have not been able to get over that hump. Marion Local's defense, they've had a bend but not break mentality. And then after the first couple drives of the game, a couple of turnovers started to ensue, some penalties started to ensue as well. So when you look at Downton, again, too many mistakes. You can't be doing that against Marion Local. When you're playing against a very tough Marion Local Flyers team, it's almost as if you have to play a perfect game.
Jackson, when you take a look at the setup and everything that we do here before we go into some statistics, you guys do a great job, TKDS. Just what are some of the things that you do? How did you get involved here with the OHSAA?
Well, our main man, Kevin Fowler, it was his birthday yesterday.
Oh,
so happy birthday,
happy
Kevin.
birthday, Kevin.
But
he did not say that to me.
I know. He found out. So
he
it was
just found
a
out
funny
it was
story.
his birthday?
he told me right after he bought our breakfast in the morning. He said, "You should be buying my breakfast. It's my birthday." I was like, "Oh, well, you told us that too late." But nonetheless, happy birthday, Kevin Fowler. And he's the main man in charge. Him and Tim Street have a great connection as well. I got involved with them a couple years ago doing some play-by-play work in the Dayton area. And TKDS, we're based out of Dayton, but we really cover games all across the nation.
Yeah.
We have crews up in Michigan. We have crews up here in Stark County with Stark Media Team. We have some crews down in Florida as well, partner with the NFHS network to bring exclusive playoff coverage as well, just like Spectrum does. And not to mention TKDS Sports Network. You can find us on any social media page. We're live on Roku, Fire Stick TV. We just launched the TKDS Sports Network radio app, and there's a lot more coming as well.
Well, what Kevin does, he's like, here's what I would learn, and anyone who knows him, he's the kind of guy that if he says, come with me, I have a bunker to go hide in, go with him. He has a bunker to hide in because something's going on in the world. He knows about it, and he's going to have everything ready for you. That's the kind of guy he seems like he is. He's just a genius when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, he's the tech guru when it comes down to it. It's funny. I'll go to games, and I'll throw on the headset and broadcast, and any of the production stuff he settles, and he is one of the smartest guys I know when it comes to that.
A little bit of military background too, right? That's where I came with. You follow him. If he says, let's go, and we'll go wherever he says. So we appreciate, again, the partnership and everything that you guys do. And last night it was funny because Kevin and I were standing over here talking, and he had up on the screen a game in Florida that he was watching, and I thought, why is he that? But at the bottom, they actually had a little ticker going that said, timeout for hydration. And I'm thinking, they're taking timeouts in Florida to get hydrated because it's a little bit warmer. We're in 40, 30-degree weather last night, totally different weather, but it was kind of cool to see that the Florida, it looks like they've started their playoffs, and you mentioned down in that area as well.
Absolutely. We have down in Broward County in Florida, there's crews down there covering games, and I think that next weekend is their state championship level. I'm not quite sure on that. I'll have to double check once I get off air here, but I'm pretty sure it's next weekend. But yeah, crews in Florida, crews in Michigan, of course, a bunch of crews here in Ohio as well. We're spread all over the nation.
What has it been like to be involved? What's your favorite thing here at the state championships, whether it's basketball, football, whatever it might be?
My favorite thing is seeing the kids who win get to celebrate, and the communities, how they are able to rally together to be able to celebrate a state championship, no matter if you've been here before and if you've won it, or no matter if you are just here for the first time and you win it. I love being able to see the communities rally together around these kids. And when you come to a state championship level, no matter if it's basketball, football, I was at the state softball championships in Akron last June. Seeing the communities come together and rally together, it's special, and it's good for the communities as well, being able to see everybody come together.
Dayton area, you said, did you go to school in Dayton? What was your school?
Kettering Fairmont High School.
Okay, so the Firebirds, right?
Yes.
How was their season this year?
They went 5-6. They made the playoffs, lost first round. Dublin Kaufman, a very good Dublin Kaufman team.
Yeah, Dublin Kaufman, yeah.
But the Fairmont Firebirds, it was it seems like that program, before Dave Miller took over, struggled. Dave Miller, he's turned it around, and you have everybody buying into the culture. In fact, my younger brother plays for the Fairmont Firebirds, and he always preaches on how the culture at Fairmont, they eat, breathe, sleep football. That's all they do. It's great for the Fairmont Firebirds.
Well, speaking eat, breathe, and sleep football, that is Marion Local, also Dalton, a team that has made it here to the the finals here. 31-0 is our score here at halftime. We're getting ready to jump into another break, but we'll take a look at statistics first real quick. 9 first downs for Marion Local, 5 first downs for Dalton. You look at rushing yards, the statistics aren't gaudy. You know, these are pretty low statistics as far as yardage goes, but it's been efficient by Marion Local. 19 rushes for 36 yards for Dalton, 12 for 86 for Marion Local. Throwing the football, Dalton is 7 of 13 for 68 yards, with the 1 interception. 8 of 10 for Marion Local, as they've thrown for 89 yards. And so when you look at the total yardage, offense, 32 plays, 104 yards for Dalton, 22 plays for 175 yards for Marion Local, and you think, wow, those yardage as far as yardage goes is not too far off. Well, Marion Local has had short fields. They've had some big plays that have allowed them. Also a big stat I always look at in high school football, Dalton is 2 of 8 in third down conversions. Marion Local, they've only had third down 3 times. They're 1 of 3. Individual statistics before we take a break. Rushing the football, Siders for Dalton has 5 carries for 19 yards. Pearson has 9 carries for 24 yards. He is, again, 7 of 13, throwing the football with the 1 interception for 68 yards. And Tomlinson has been his favorite receiver, 5 targets, 3 catches for 11 yards. Audie, the leading rusher for Marion Local, 4 carries for 43 yards right behind him. Kunoff for 3 carries for 36 yards. Audie, the leading receiver, 4 catches for 25 yards and a long of 10. So that's our statistics here at halftime. 31-0, Marion Local on top of Dalton. A quick timeout. Let's pause for these messages from your local station. When we come back, it'll be Chris Sawicki and his team take you through the second half. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network.
Welcome. Legends, the newly renovated Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Walk among the immortals of football inside the Hall of Fame gallery. Here you can stand face to face with the men who built America's game. Relive the greatest moments of Super Bowl history in the Lamar Hunt Super Bowl gallery and stand before the Vince Lombardi Trophy. While the NFL Today gallery is home to the NFL's most recent record-breaking moments. Plan your visit to the Pro Football Hall of Fame today at ProFootballHOF.com.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in Ohio is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Former Ohio State and NFL quarterback Bobby Hoy.
Growing up in Ohio, the lessons I learned through sports not only helped take me to the Ohio State University and the NFL, but they also apply every day in my career after sports. Lessons that build character, discipline, sportsmanship, and teamwork are what remain long after your playing days are over. Through interscholastic athletics, OHSAA member schools help kids build a foundation for a lifetime of success.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
Hey everybody, Rachel Ray here. Nothing brings a bigger smile to my face than cooking up a big meal for the whole family and lots of friends. But there's not enough room at my table for the 17 million kids in our country who struggle with hunger. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks collects surplus food to give hope to hungry kids. But they can't do it without your help. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
It's halftime at Hall of Fame Stadium. Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium is the appropriate name, and at the half, it is all Maria Stein, Marion Local. They lead it 31-0 over the Bulldogs of Dalton. With TJ Downing, I'm Chris Sawicki. TJ, a former Ohio State Buckeye, and now the CEO of Stark Media. Talk a little bit about that, CJ, because Stark Media is starting to have a huge presence here in this part of the state.
Yeah, not only with the game of football, but as we get ready to transition here next week into winter sports, high school basketball. We've done a lot with wrestling, and really it's about just covering these great student athletes that we not only have here in Stark County, Summit County, the surrounding Tuscarawas and Carroll counties, but all of Northeast Ohio. A rich football tradition area, but also a lot of other great varsity sports that we love to get out there and highlight. So anytime you get a chance, go over and check us out on some social media platforms at Stark Media Team, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, and also check out our website powered by TKDS Sports at starkmedia.tkdssports.com. And I'll tell you what, Chris, when you look at some of these numbers here for the Dalton Bulldogs, it's anemic offensively, but man, the one stat line I wanted to see was the punt return yardage. You got it. You clocked the 64-yard punt return. Also, 3 of them for Kyle Oddie at 44 yards. Seemed like it was a lot more than that. His longest one was a 31-yard return. But some of the big numbers coming from the quarterback, Justin Nauf, 8 of 10. And also 1 interception, 89 yards through the air. His long pass was a 26-yarder. And you look on the receiving end, Oddie had 4 catches for 25 yards, 35 yards after contact. Gotta love that. Number 25, he's playing a physical brand of football. And then they just kind of spread it all out, as we talked about on defense. Nobody really sticks out. Everybody does their job. Even stats across the board. You look at Heitkamp with 5 tackles, also Partington 5 tackles, a half tackle for loss. Nagel and Jones each have 4 tackles. And when you think about what Ryan Baker asked Coach Brock Dial of the Dalton Bulldogs when he went into the half, what do you tell your guys? He's like, you know what? Play with pride. You know this thing's going to tick down quickly here if you can't get it under 30 points. So you come out here and just understand that this is something different that the school has ever experienced. They've never been in this position. They weren't in this position last week. It was their first ever state semi-appearance. So you know what? Play with pride, embrace it, understanding you're going against a great quality program, one of the best in the state of Ohio, but play with passion. For your fans that have traveled here faithfully from just down the street, try and put on a show for the last half of football for some of these guys that they'll ever suit up and wear a jersey.
Let's go ahead and check in quickly down on the sidelines with Ryan Baker. Ryan, what's happening?
Guys, I talked with Coach Tim Goodwin coming out of the locker room. I asked him if that first half could have gone any better, and he said, yeah, we should have scored down there instead of kicking a field goal. So he wasn't happy with that, and I asked him what his message to his team was. He said 48 minutes. We've had leads like this before and let them bleed away. We can't think about this being over yet. A couple injury news is with Dalton here. Connor Morey, the freshman that we saw go down, he came out with help across the field with an ice pack around his ankle. He's sitting on the bench now with no shoe. Same with Colin Jones as well. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys get back in the ball game.
Brady Hignite kicks it away for Dalton, and kind of a squib kick that ends up going out of bounds just beyond the 20-yard line. So that's going to be a illegal procedure penalty against Dalton, and that will give the Flyers good field position. We do have a running clock situation here to begin the third quarter, 31-0. Marion Local with the lead. They're going to spot the ball at the 35, and that's where the Flyers take over 1st and 10 with their first offensive possession of the second half, led by their quarterback, Justin Knopf. Knopf, you mentioned it, TJ, doing it with his feet, doing it with his arm. 3 for 36, carrying the football. 8 for 10, throwing it. Left side, that's Oddie. He fumbles it out of bounds. It'll remain with Maria Stein Marion Local, but those are the kind of mistakes that sometimes can be seen when you have a big lead, just coming out of the locker room, not quite ready.
I might have had a tough time playing for Coach Goodwin, man, coming out saying we didn't do anything wrong. Come on now, man. Come on, man. You're up 31-0. But again, we didn't see it until the end of that second half. As he mentioned, down on the goal line, you don't want a penalty. You do want to score. So I understand and respect that.
Second down and 11. Knopf takes the snap, rolls to the right side. He passes into the flat. He's got a man up the right sideline. That's number 15, Griffin Bruns, who made the catch and got very close to Dalton territory and picking up a first down right at the 50.
Yeah, obviously Bruns stuck out in the first half with that 80-yard interception return for a touchdown. That was midway through the second quarter. Good to see him offensively. You know, it's just, again, it's not any one guy that sticks out. You can spread it around to so many different areas. As we know, Knopf has now passed for over 2,000 yards in this 2023 football season.
He's in the shotgun with running backs on either side. He hands it off to Oddie, who goes right side across the 50 and powers forward to about the 47-yard line. Call it a pickup of 3 on first down. It'll be 2nd and 7. Kyle Oddie is he's low to the ground, and he's a lot of elbows and knees. Like, he just comes at you with everything sharp and painful. And over the course of time, the cumulative effect of trying to tackle a guy like that can be impactful on the front seven.
The other thing that wears on you defensively is that Oddie averages 10 yards a clip inside of this ball game. So every time he touches it, you can almost guarantee a first down.
And in motion from the top to the bottom. Looking to throw is Knopf. He's got time. Now he scrambles. He goes up the middle, breaks a tackle across the 45 to the 40 to the 35, slipping another tackle and taken down inside the 30 at the 27-yard line. Nice job by the quarterback, Knopf, who in his 4th carry of the ball game gets another. He's averaging 12 yards a carry. He's more than that on that carry.
Boy, he's trying to one-up Oddie, and I'll tell you what, number 7 just gets it done, man. You really got to just love what he brings to the table. Only a junior. As we know, he'll be back next year. This development of the quarterback, as Coach said, was a pleasant surprise. Well, he's balling out right now.
He takes the snap, hands it off, right side. Breaking another tackle, getting to the outside. That's number 46 for Maria Stein Marion Local. That's Ethan Heitkamp, who took it up the middle and then bounced it to the outside. He's inside the 10 for another first down in the red zone. First and 10 from the 8 after a 19-yard gallop by Heitkamp. It's just remarkable when you can just call name after name after name, and these guys know what to do with it. They've got the offense. They have the talent. Man in motion. Looking to throw. Pass outside to Adi. Adi across the 10 to the 5 into the end zone. Touchdown. Knopf to Adi. 8-yard touchdown pass. And the lead grows even further. The Flyers now lead it 37-0.
Adi's 12th touchdown of the season. He's had a couple in the air, as we see right there. We've seen him rush one into the end zone here. And I'll tell you what, firmly in control. This team is rolling down the hill. And maybe that message from Coach Goodwin was delivered that, hey, we don't want to settle for a field goal. We don't want to allow somebody to maybe feel like they have some type of life in this ball game. As, again, that clock just works against Dalton. Another big score for the Flyers.
Francis with a snap. The hold by Everman and the extra point by Bills. All according to plan. And so Marion Local's lead increases to 38-0. Here in the third quarter, they come out on their first offensive possession after coming out of the locker room leading 31-0 and immediately continue to add.
You know, Chris, when you look at some of the numbers rushing throughout the season for the Flyers, we mentioned, as I talked about a couple times throughout this game, it can really be whose turn is it next. You know, unselfish football, I think, is a good word to say what kind of brand of football the Marion Local Flyers play. It's very unselfish. It's, hey, listen, I may not get the carry this time, although I'd like to, but I'm going to block for my guy, and I'm going to help him out. You look at some of the averages. You know, Justin Knopf averaged over 6 yards a carry throughout the regular season and into the playoffs. Adi, over 7 yards per carry. You look down even further, Drew Laws, over 7.5 yards per carry. Down, we haven't even seen Parker Hess. He carried the ball for over 500 yards at a 7.4 yard per carry average. Two other guys also on here averaging over 6 yards a carry. 25 touchdowns now on the season for Heitkamp. I mentioned Adi with 12. They just spread it around so well. You got to love what Coach does here. You know, it's when you don't hurt yourself, it makes it impossible for a team to really come in and effectively put any damage against you. You understand why they're undefeated and going to close in on their 14th state title.
Bills kicks it off, fielded at the 6-yard line. Looking for space is number 23, Grayson Siders, and Siders is able to get up around the 25-yard line, so a decent return that will give Dalton their first shot at an offensive possession here in the second half.
As Coach Dial talked about, Chris, you know, you just, for all these seniors out there, guys like Grayson Siders, you just want to go out the right way. When you're trailing 38-0, you know you're not going to get back in and win this game, but just play with pride.
Pitch to the outside on first down, cutting back up inside. That's Siders. Siders across the 35 and taken down near the 40-yard line. Pretty good run. Picks up about 12, maybe 13 on the carry. That's good for a Dalton first down.
And it looks like the replacement, Colin Riggenback, will come in for Colin Jones. So we will see how that young man pans out.
Handoff right side. Nothing doing this time. Taken down right at the 40-yard line is Siders once again. Riggenback was slated to be the starting center, so they've done a little shuffling of that offensive line, and it's impossible to replace a guy like Colin Jones.
No doubt, and when you talk about that shuffle, Chris, a lot of times, I got to recorrect myself here, they've taken Matthew Van Bonn and put him in at tackle. They've slid down Talon Krieger over to right guard. So finding out who is your sixth man, so to say, on that offensive line.
Pitch to the outside. Stutter step across the 40 to the 45-yard line.
Tomlinson on the carry.
Tomlinson, the ball carrier this time. He gets across the 45 to the 46. Bring up third down and 4. All the way down to 5 minutes and 40 seconds to play in this third quarter. With the running clock, things move very quickly. Wholesale substitutions for Maria Stein, Marion Local. Pitch to the outside. Cutting it up. Siders near the 50. He's going to be just shy of the first down. It's going to be 4th down and 1 at the 49-yard line. I don't think there's any doubt you go for it here. Tomlinson is coming in, as well as number 55, Mitch Reynolds. So the offensive line rotation continues. Reynolds, a 6-foot sophomore, weighs 230 pounds. Full house backfield. Pearson stretches out. It's going to be awfully close. It looked like it was a busted play, and Pearson was able to have the wherewithal to lean forward and cross the 50, so they're going to move the chains, but there is another Bulldog down in the logo, dead center of the field. And here comes the training staff.
That looks to be big number 72, Grayson Layman. And there you talk about losing Colin Jones, one of your leaders up front. Grayson Layman has been all of that as well.
We'll take a timeout while they continue to tend to him on the field. Let's pause for these messages from the OHSAA. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network, brought to you by Chocolate Milk.
You practice hard, you play hard, you're always reaching for your goals. You reach for the next point, the next yard, the next win. And after the game, reach for low-fat chocolate milk. It has the fluids to rehydrate you, the right mix of protein and carbs to refuel you, and the vitamins and minerals to help you build strong bones and bodies. Fuel up with chocolate milk. For more information, visit drink-milk.com.
Max Preps is your source for high school sports. From schedules to stats, live scores, rosters, video, and photos, Max Preps has it all. And when you download the Max Preps app, you can add your favorite teams and get notified on the go. Have your own personalized scoreboards and stay updated on the latest news surrounding your high school team. As a proud partner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, Max Preps wishes every student, athlete, and coach out there a very successful season.
Jim Lachey, Ohio State football All-American and NFL Super Bowl champion on Achievement.
Hi, I'm Jim Lachey. Studies show that students who play school sports tend to have better attendance records, higher grade point average, fewer discipline problems, and are more likely to pursue a college education. High school sports also teaches leadership, character, and provide the foundation for becoming a good citizen. Let's respect the game, and remember to always keep the student first and student athlete.
This message brought to you by the Ohio High School Athletic Association.
How do you respect the game? Find out how at ohsaa.org/RTG.
4 minutes, 38 seconds remain in the third quarter of this OHSAA Division 7 state championship game. It has been all Flyers. Maria Stein, Marion Local 38, Dalton nothing. During the timeout, Grayson Layman was able to get up off the turf and walk to the sideline under his own power. But Ryan Baker, you've got information on a couple of other players.
Yeah, guys, Colin and Connor Moore, we've already talked about them a little bit. It does not look like they will be coming back into the game. Both of them, shoes off, ice packs on their feet. Actually, Jones, he won't stay down, though. He's leaning on freshman Micah Miller. He's right there with his team on the sidelines, rooting them on.
Thanks for the information. Certainly we hope that no long-standing injury issue for those guys. Maybe not back today, but here we go out of the timeout. Pearson takes the snap. He hands it off. Tomlinson gets some space. He breaks a tackle. He's at the 30. Cuts back up inside to the 25. Big-time run by Sammy Tomlinson out to the 25. And a Dalton Bulldog first down.
Well, good to see Grayson Layman coming back into the ball game. Number 55, Mitch Reynolds, is going to check out. But I'll tell you what, when you talk about a makeshift offensive line, the previous play, one of the biggest bright spots offensively for Coach Brock Dial.
3:55 to play in the third quarter. Pearson takes the snap, hands it off. There's Tomlinson again. He follows his blocker, showed some great patience, gets across the 20 to about the 16-yard line. Good run by Sammy Tomlinson, and moving, not the chains this time, but certainly moving that ball marker further down the field. An 8-yard carry brings up 2nd and 2.
Well, 72's feeling better for Dalton because he just moved about 3 or 4 bodies out of the way, finished off with a pancake block, and nice lead block there pulling around from his left guard spot.
6'4", 290 is Grayson Lehman. Pitch to the outside. Silers this time. He cuts it up inside. He's to 15, and that's going to be good for another Dalton first down.
And again, works over top of the left guard, was able to get a nice seal block on the outside. Weren't able to get to the second level were the Dalton Bulldogs, but all you really needed was enough to move the chains. You obviously know that you're going to try and get back into this game and just keep it respectable, play with pride, try and get that goose egg off the scoreboard. Yep. You know, that's the biggest thing with this drive right here. Let's just find a way. Coach Brock Dial's got to tell his team to just get some points on the board.
Silers, the lone running back in the backfield. Pearson under center this time. Man comes in motion. Hand off to Silers, straight ahead. Picking up about 3 to the 12-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7. After the straight ahead run by Silers, greeted by a number of gold and blue uniforms.
Gain of 3 yards. 2nd down and 7 for the Bulldogs.
Ball's on the 12. The clock's ticking down. 2:15, 2:14 to play in the third quarter. Tomlinson to the left side of the formation. Pearson in the shotgun, empty backfield. Here comes Tomlinson. They fake the handoff to him. Pearson goes straight up the middle. He's across the 10, down around the 8, maybe the 7. Looks like they're going to spot him at the 8, which means they will have about 3 yards to pick up the first down. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
And another big block there by Grayson Lehman, who's come back into the ball game after injury. And you see them using that jet sweep motion to kind of try and keep those linebackers honest. Just allow your defensive lineman or your offensive lineman to put a hat on the defensive lineman. And at that point, all the quarterback has to do is make a guy miss. Able to pick up some decent yardage there on 2nd down.
So 3rd and 3 from the 8. Pearson under center, full house backfield, handoff to Silers, nothing doing. He was greeted in the backfield, and then somebody in blue and gold hung on for dear life and waited for the cavalry to arrive, and that's exactly what happened. I believe the tackler was Landon Arling. He was the first guy on the scene anyway.
Boy, scraping off the edge fast. Nobody blocking off the backside of the offensive line, and this is going to set up that key 4th down here. One of those things, talking about playing with pride. Coach Brock Dial said it. This is one you got to pick up here and just kind of try and save face in the state championship game.
4th down and 3 from the 8. Again, under center is Pearson. He fakes the handoff. He rolls out to the right, trying to get some space. Now he's going to try to bounce it. He dives forward, but he is going to be short of the first down. He was well behind the stick, and he dove with all that he had, but came up about a yard short. It'll be a turnover on downs. The Flyers will get it back 1st and 10 on their own 12-yard line.
Yeah, that one's going to hurt. And as you kind of saw number 23, Grayson Siders, kind of hanging his head after that, you could tell that 4th down probably meant the world to this Dalton Bulldogs team. And if you're Colin Pearson, you know, you could go back and look at that and say maybe cut it up against the grain, try and cut back into the field and make something happen. When you get to that out-of-bounds line, there's only so much room to work with. You could tell he was at least 2 yards away from it.
20 seconds to play in the third quarter. Knopf sends Adi in motion to the right side. Handoff up the middle. Room to run. Bouncing it to the outside at the 20. Now cutting it back up inside is Heitkamp. And Heitkamp gets hit hard and taken to the turf at the 25. But that's good after a 13-yard run for another Flyer first down. And that takes us to the end of the third quarter of play. Marion Local 38, Dalton nothing. The fourth quarter on the other side of this timeout. But first we pause for these messages from your local station. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network.
You may think seatbelt laws are no big deal. Well, you couldn't be more wrong. Cops are cracking down day and night in the city, in the country, and all points in between. Make no mistake, if you don't buckle up, you will get caught and you will get a ticket. Even if you've gotten away with not buckling in the past, things are about to change. Cops are serious about seatbelt safety, so don't kid yourself. Buckle up every time or get a ticket. Click it or ticket. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
This isn't Madison Square Garden. These drills probably won't make anyone a #1 draft pick. But these players are practicing for something important. While they work on their jump shots, they're also learning teamwork, discipline, self-confidence, how to deal with wins and losses. Skills that will make them winners long after they leave the court. Support high school activities in your community, because when kids take part, they get set for life.
Question. When you walk into the boardrooms of the most successful companies here in Ohio, who do you meet? Answer. Men and women who played high school sports. Education-based high school sports give us more than athletes we can root for. They give us leaders we can depend on. Question. So where will we find tomorrow's leaders? Answer. High school sports.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Fourth quarter about to get underway from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. It's been all Maria Stein, Marion local this afternoon. 38-0 is our score. The Flyers on top of the Bulldogs from Dalton. They've had some opportunities, just haven't been able to punch it into the end zone. Sometimes it's been a big turnover. This last time it was just not quite getting to the sticks. But they continue to fight, and they fight against injury. They fight against a lot of different things. These Bulldogs have shown an awful lot of heart, as have the Flyers today, and that's what you'd expect from two state championship teams. Justin Knopf stands at his own 20. The ball's at the 25. He waits for the snap. It's 1st and 10 from there. He hands it off right side. Breaking a tackle. That's Heitkamp. He gets across the 25 to the 27-yard line. I'm sorry, that's Laws on the carry.
You know, Chris, who this really becomes important to if you're on the Dalton Bulldogs sideline are these juniors that'll be returning next year. We saw to end that third quarter, Alex Hess was able to come in there and make a big tackle. He had over 80 tackles throughout this season. He's in there knifing off, making first contact after this one. You want to see these juniors that are going to carry this program into the future have a good, strong finish to this ball game.
Man in motion, that's Laws. He goes to the left side. Following him is Knopf, who's going to continue to run. He crosses the 35 to the 37-yard line. Pretty good run by the Flyer quarterback. And for Knopf, that's his 5th carry. Prior to that run, he had 56 yards on the day, averaging 14 yards per carry. Knopf in the shotgun. 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. He rolls out. He passes into the flat. It's caught. Andrew Pullman, the receiver. He gets across the 40 to the 42-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the pass. 2nd down and 4.
Gain of 6 yards, 2nd down and 4.
So Knopf, whether throwing, now 12 of 14. He does have an interception, but 12 of 14 for about 118 yards, a touchdown, a pick, a long of 26. It's been a very efficient day for the quarterback. He takes the snap, hands it off, right side, room to run. That's Adi. He spins out of one tackle, falls forward to the 50-yard line, and that will move the chains once again as Adi gets it out to midfield, 1st and 10.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, you really got to like what Adi does with that spin move. We saw that on the big run that got him all the way down to the 2-yard line early in that first half. Kind of utilizes it at the perfect time. It's not an easy thing to do, but, you know, when you talked about yards after contact, I mean, he was one of those guys. 50 yards after contact after 3 quarters of play. The guy knows how to take a shot, keep on moving.
He's in motion to the left side again. This time a handoff up the middle. I believe that's Laws who gets to the 49. That's Heitkamp, excuse me, who gets to the 49-yard line. pick up a 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6.
2nd down and 6 for the Flyers.
Clock down to under 9 minutes now. 8:53 and ticking. Victor Holscher brings a play in from the sideline and then goes wide to the right side of the formation. Knopf goes up under center. He's got an I formation behind him. Hand off to Laws, left side. Laws across the 40 to the 38-yard line. They just keep pounding it left and right.
You know, Chris, when we talk about teams getting to this point in the season, 6 extra weeks of football that they've all gotten to play, and you know, for the Downton Bulldogs, they still have their starters in the ball game. But for the Marion Flyers, if you want to know why they end up being so good, build that depth in their program with these players. You talked about it, partner, wholesale substitutions before. When you get guys in playing in a state championship environment who never played much throughout a regular season, it just becomes different.
It really does. Pass to the outside. That's Adi, who gets around one tackler, then turns his back on another and tries to back his way further. Coy Wenger ended up making the tackle, but not before Adi reaches the 35-yard line.
Tackled by Coy Wenger.
Well, you know, as you look back at the records and you look back at 15-0 and you look back at some of the scores, a lot of these guys did get some burn in some of those mop-up duty type situations when you're beating Minster 42-7 or you're beating Franklin 63-7. Again, that's different. It's one thing to get mop-up duty in week 3. It's another to get mop-up duty inside of Tom Benson Stadium.
You got that right. Hand off up the middle. Spinning to the right. That's number 46, Ethan Heitkamp, who gets close to the 30. He's at the 31-yard line, but that's still going to bring up some work to do before they move the chains. It's going to be 3rd down and about 3. 7:03 to play in the 4th quarter. It's been all Flyers today.
Well, if we dig into the record books, we may find that this could be the quickest second half of football in championship football in Ohio high school history.
Keeping it on the ground, keeping it between the lines, keeping the clock moving. Knopf with running backs on either side. He rolls to the right. He passes to the outside. And he completes the pass to Victor Holscher, who went to the turf to get it and picked it off his shoe tops for the catch. 1st down, Flyers. 6:22 to play in the 4th quarter. Stay with us after the conclusion of this one for the presentation of the trophies. State runners-up, state champions. Ryan Baker will try to connect with the winning coach, maybe a player. There's a handoff that takes us across the 15 to the 12-yard line. Had to get to the 13, so that's a good run and moves the chains once again. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 13-yard line.
Again, you just think about a running clock type situation and the fact that in this possession alone, the Marion Flyers have controlled the entire 4th quarter, and we are down to the 5:30 mark. That's
Indeed.
unbelievable.
It really is. Knopf hands it off. Big number 40, Camden Eifert, 5'8", 175-pound sophomore, getting some play. Ball gets across the 10 to the 8-yard line. Be 2nd down and 5 from the 8. Now we have a timeout on the field. And they're going to send number 57, Matthew Heatwall, to the sideline. I'm guessing it's an equipment situation. And so coming in to replace him is number 67, Corbin Lehman. Lehman, a sophomore, 6 foot 190. Knopf in the shotgun. Adi to his left. Man comes in motion. This little touch pass to number 21, Braden Pavleka, with the tackle being made by Grayson Siders. Ball's a loss on the play, back to the 15. So it's going to be 3rd down and 12. 7-yard loss on that play. Devin Francis brings the play in from the sideline. Lots of wide receivers shuffling in and out. Be interesting to see what happens here. 4:18 to play. Handoff. Nope. To the first man through. That was number 40. That's Camden Eifert. He got back to the 10, but now it's going to be 4th down and 7. And they're going to go ahead and run it one more time. Wholesale, yeah, that's right. Wholesale changes coming in from the sideline, giving a lot of guys the opportunity to say they played in the game at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. Twins to each side of the formation. One in the backfield with Knopf, who's in the shotgun. Takes the snap, looks to throw to the right side. The pass was intended for number 15, Griffin Bruns, but Bruns couldn't get it. It was above his head and out of bounds. That's a turnover on downs. We'll go ahead and take a quick break. 3:23 to play left in this one. 38-0. All Maria Stein Marion local. Let's pause for these messages from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network, brought to you by Chocolate Milk.
Here's to the ones who put in the work, the no days off, rise and grind warriors who live by the oath of my body is my temple. And when their temple needs to rebuild after a long workout, athletes of all types choose low-fat chocolate milk. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. Chocolate milk turns Motivation Monday into Flex Friday. Crush your goals with the help of a real recovery drink. Try it for yourself. Built with chocolate milk. The official beverage of high school sports is brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast.
Spectrum News 1, a new kind of news channel dedicated to refreshing storytelling and empowering communities across the Buckeye State. With your local forecast every 10 minutes and all of the essential news you need 24/7. Plus, in-depth shows and exclusives focused on your community. Always Ohio, always refreshing, always on. We are Spectrum News 1, exclusively on Spectrum.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but as you grew up, things changed. Teaching just didn't seem like the best option anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Interesting and innovative things are happening in teaching today, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Check out the OHSAA on social media. Follow at OHSAA Sports on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Back at Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, 3:23 to play in the fourth quarter. And before we get back into the action, we'll go to the sideline. And Ryan, I imagine you're over here on the Maria Stein Marion local sideline. Has the anticipation, has the explosion begun to fill, being able to run out and proclaim themselves state champs quite yet?
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, they've been here before, they've done this, so it's just business as usual for them. I want to piggyback on what TJ was talking about earlier, though, these deep playoff runs they have. You think about this, guys, these sophomores who will be juniors next year, they have already played as many games as what normal teams, seniors, would have played going into next year. And not only the game experience, guys, but the practices. I remember Pickerington Central longtime coach Jay Sherritt talking about that. It's the practices, those extra week of practices that keeps runs like this going all the time. So these sophomores, they're basically juniors or seniors when they head into their junior year.
First play from the line of scrimmage for Dalton, number 11, Justin Jagger, a 5'8 senior, carries and picks up no gain on the play. Just a handoff to the right side. He was met and drilled to the turf. So it remains second and 10 from the 10-yard line.
Coach Dial is going to rotate some guys in here to let them get that experience as well as we're closing in here on the 2:30 mark. But Chris, I mean, can we firmly say here now, I mean, it's probably, we could have said it after last year, is this the greatest high school football dynasty that we've ever seen in the state of Ohio?
It's certainly one of them. They've been so consistent year over year. Handoff right side. Couple of yards on the carry.
To do it in the time frame that they've done, I kind of kind of compare it to what we see down the road here in Division III college football with Mount Union, where they were able to win like 13, 14 national titles within a 26-year window with Larry Karras and Vince Karras. And, you know, you saw the Flyers come onto the scene and win that first one in 2000 at the turn of the century. Everybody else was worried about Y2K. You got to worry about the Marion Flyers.
That last ball was carried by number 25, Jackson Ryder, who's a freshman running back on this team. Handoff right side. That might have been Ryder again, who gets across the 15 to the 16, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
Jared Hoffstetter on the carry. Tackle by Ben Brandley.
1:23 to play.
4th down and 4 for the Bulldogs.
4th and 4 from the 16.
Line of scrimmage, the 16-yard line.
This is one of those pride things here, partner. I mean, hey, you carry this over into 2024 right here if you could pick this up with some young fellas.
Brady Hignight's younger brother, Carter, is in at quarterback. Now he steps back, and he's going to punt it. So a little pooch punt. He kicks a line drive. There's nobody back. It takes a fortuitous Dalton bounce into Flyer territory, down at the 47-yard line with 48 seconds to play. So it'll be a knee coming from the Flyers, and that should tidy things up for this Division VII state championship matchup.
Coach Goodwin just got the ice bath. He turned around and took his water bottle and started squirting his players. I think, I'll tell you what, I don't know who deserves it more, Coach, or the players that continuously come out here and just win state championship after state championship. Hey, how about this, man? We're down to just 2 more state championship games, but we now have 2 3-time defending state champs now, with St. Ed's putting it together last night and Flyers putting it together here today.
With the knee, the clock will tick down to 000, and the Flyers of Maria Stein Marion Local will be crowned the 2023 OHSAA State Football Champions for Division VII. Handshakes across midfield as the Bulldogs come this way and the Flyers go that way, celebrating sportsmanship in the midst of competition. 38-0, the final score. We'll be back with more and post-game presentations right after this timeout, but we pause first for these messages from the Ohio High School Athletic Association. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network, brought to you by Chocolate Milk.
You practice hard, you play hard, you're always reaching for your goals. You reach for the next point, the next yard, the next win. And after the game, reach for low-fat chocolate milk. It has the fluids to rehydrate you, the right mix of protein and carbs to refuel you, and the vitamins and minerals to help you build strong bones and bodies. Fuel up with chocolate milk. For more information, visit drink-milk.com.
Welcome to the home of Gridiron Legends, the newly renovated Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. Walk among the immortals of football inside the Hall of Fame gallery. Here you can stand face to face with the men who built America's game, relive the greatest moments of Super Bowl history in the Lamar Hunt Super Bowl gallery, and stand before the Vince Lombardi Trophy, while the NFL Today gallery is home to the NFL's most recent record-breaking moments. Plan your visit to the Pro Football Hall of Fame today at profootballhof.com.
Max Preps is your source for high school sports. From schedules to stats, live scores, rosters, video, and photos, Max Preps has it all. And when you download the Max Preps app, you can add your favorite teams and get notified on the go. Have your own personalized scoreboards and stay updated on the latest news surrounding your high school team. As a proud partner of the Ohio High School Athletic Association, Max Preps wishes every student, athlete, and coach out there a very successful season.
The game is over, but this time, instead of asking how many goals did you score or what were your stats, try asking these questions. Were you a good teammate? Were you coachable? Did you give 100%? And did you have fun? Because those are the values that school sports instill in Ohio's young people, where winning and losing are secondary to the life lessons that will stay with kids long after their playing days are over. This is the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Educate through sports. School sports aren't just extracurricular. They are extra important. Find out more at ohsaa.org.
You are that special group. Look how many people are proud of you from your hometown. Talking with Principal Watkins, one of the things he brought up to me is not only are you great leaders on the football field, but you're great leaders throughout the day in your school, and we all appreciate that. They're going to be talking a bit about this group for years in your community, and what they're going to say is you won 13 straight games this season. You made your school's first trip to the Final Four, your first trip to the championship game, and it's our pleasure at the OHSAA. I'm joined by Bill Arnett, Athletic Director at Waverly High School. It's our pleasure to present to you the 2023 Division VII State Championship Trophy. One round.
You were just hearing Executive Director Doug Ute, who presented Dalton with the state semifinal or state championship runners-up trophy. Bo Arnett, one of the board members there, to hand it out as well. And TJ, as you look at this team, it was a little bit of a mash unit coming out onto the field. It's been a very physical ball game today, and a number of the Dalton players are showing the effects.
Yeah, it was tough to watch. Teammates almost just both have to get underneath the arms of Colin Jones and carry him out onto the field. Couldn't put pressure anywhere. And, you know, you see 72 Grayson Lehman limping out there. For these guys, this moment meant everything, and obviously they didn't get it done or compete inside on the scoreboard the way they would have wanted to. But you know what, as Doug, you just mentioned, so much to be proud of in that community of Dalton. It's a small, tight-knit community, and what they do is they support their student athletes and these high school kids. To have this be the first ever time you make it to this point, it is something special. It is something to set that bar for the future and the next gen to come up behind you.
Let's head back down to the field where Kristen Ronay will be presenting, along with Gina Franks, the Marion Local, the state championship trophy.
Flyers every year to start the season. Schools set expectations and goals that they want to meet. And for the vast majority of the past 2 decades, your team has met those goals. But what I don't want to be lost is that on this day, it was this particular group of boys and these coaches who got the job done. You used hard work, dedication, and sacrifice to make it back to your school's 16th state title since the year 2000. And with your victory today, you extend your streak of 48 straight wins, bring home your school's 14th state title, extending your state record, and yet again, winning back-to-back state championships. And it's our pleasure on behalf of our board of directors, executive director, and staff to present to you the 2003 Division VII State Championship Trophy. Congratulations.
TJ, when you hear those stats back to back to back, you hear the vast number of games in a row this Marion Local team has won. It's just a testament to a well-run program and some incredible hard work on the part of all those folks.
Coach Goodwin, in his 24th season, I mean, just hearing those numbers down there on the field, 16 appearances. You could talk how many teams, how many programs would just love to have 3 state runner-up finishes like they did in 03, 15, and 18, but now you've got 14 state championship trophies in the mantle, on the mantle, in the trophy case. It is unbelievable to think about what they've put together again, just doing the bulk of that work since 2000. What has been built here is, we kind of talked about it towards midway to the end of the fourth quarter. Is this the best dynasty inside of Ohio high school football history? And we heard Ryan Baker kind of chime in on that. It's not even close.
of today's contest.
38-0, the final score today. Maria Stein Marion Local, the victors in the Division 7 state championship game. We're going to step aside. When we come back, Ryan Baker will be on the field with Tim Goodwin and others. We're going to pause first for these messages from your local station. You're listening to the OHSAA Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Anthony Munoz. I didn't make it into the Pro Football Hall of Fame by letting drugs and alcohol affect my ability to play. I brought my A game every time, and that's what you should do when sharing the road. That means never getting behind the wheel under the influence and wearing your seatbelt, because it's always the best defense against a drunk driver. So whether you're driving around town or to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, never let impaired driving take you out of the game.
This message brought to you by the Ohio Department of Public Safety.
Here's to the ones who put in the work, the no days off, rise and grind warriors who live by the oath of my body is my temple. And when their temple needs to rebuild after a long workout, athletes of all types choose low-fat chocolate milk. It's delicious and contains the right mix of protein and carbs to help refuel exhausted muscles. Chocolate milk turns Motivation Monday into Flex Friday. Crush your goals with the help of a real recovery drink. Try it for yourself. Built with chocolate milk. The official beverage of high school sports is brought to you by the American Dairy Association Mideast.
Okay, here are 3 important reasons why your son or daughter should play a sport in high school.
Number 1.
High school sports teach valuable life lessons like self-discipline and time management skills.
2.
Teens who play a high school sport have better grade point averages.
And number 3.
High school sports are safer than ever before.
This message presented by the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the Ohio Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Why do they officiate? For some, it's a way of staying involved in a sport they grew up with. For others, it's a way to pay it forward by helping kids who play today and tomorrow. It's also a great way to stay active, make extra money, and work with friends. And all of them will say it boils down to one thing: the love of the game. Find your reasons and log on to ohsaa.org to find out how to become an official. You'll be glad you did. This is the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Educate through sports.
Before we go any further, let's pause 10 seconds so stations can identify themselves along the OHSAA radio network.
This is the radio home of the best high school sports in Youngstown. We are Sports Radio 1240 WBBW Youngstown, a Cumulus media station.
Ohio State, great. I'm Chris Solecki. Glad to have you along with us. The final score this afternoon from the Division 7 OHSAA State Championships. 38-0. Maria Stein Marion Local over the Dalton Bulldogs. The Bulldogs were game. They came in. They played hard. But Maria Stein Marion Local is three straight state champions for a reason, and they came in today and asserted their will in a lot of different ways. Down on the field right now with cheerleaders and fans getting photos taken. And in just a moment, we'll be able to send it down to the sideline where Ryan Baker will be with Tim Goodwin. Let's go ahead and do that now. Ryan, you've got the victorious coach. Talk to us.
Coach, you lost a lot from your defense last year. The playoffs are supposed to be the hardest time of the year. 6 games, 5 shutouts, only 7 points given up. Did you know that this defense could be this good?
I wasn't sure. You know, we always pride ourselves on defense, and we're a defensive-oriented program, so that's where we always hang our hat, but you never know, and the kids just kept getting better and better.
This senior class, a little smaller than last year's, but Kyle Audie, Jones, Landon Arling, all of them there, just to name a few of them. What does this senior class mean to you?
Just great kids. Like you said, there's only 12, which is small for us, really, and they're small in stature. They're just not big kids, so just great kids, though. They'll be very successful in life.
48 straight with this one today. How big is that?
I don't think about it.
That's probably why you guys are where you are. Last one for you, Coach. You ever get tired of talking to all of us?
Never.
Congratulations, Coach. Enjoy this.
Thanks a lot.
Tim Goodwin celebrating his 48th straight victory, his 3rd straight state championship. TJ, you look up and down the stat line, you see Kyle Otte, you see Justin Knopf, you see Ethan Heitkamp, you see Victor Holscher, you see a lot of good folks, and one of those folks is down on the sideline now with Ryan Baker. Let's go down to him with Kyle Otte.
Yeah, guys, I'm here with Kyle. Kyle, a great game individually today, about 100 yards, total offense, 2 touchdowns. I know this is about team, but talk about your individual performance first.
I just got to thank the offensive line and everybody else around the perimeter blocking for me.
Yeah, Kyle, and your dad is an assistant on this staff. 4 uncles that played here. Your brother Peyton. Talk a little bit about what Marion Local and the blue and yellow mean to you.
It's everything. I mean, I always looked up to them when I was little, and now I'm able to do it myself, and it's really an honor. And I mean, this is one of my goals as a little kid, is just make it here and bring home a state championship for Maria Stein.
How cool is it to end your career with 48 straight wins?
Throughout the year, I really didn't keep track of the wins. I mean, we didn't really talk much about it, but now, as you say it, we just keep rolling and winning.
Kyle, congratulations. Go enjoy it with your team.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan, very much. So, TJ, I saw you starting to nod your head as soon as he was giving love to the big guys up front.
Yes, sir.
That makes sense from where you sit, but it also makes sense because that's the engine of this deal, right? You can have all the skilled players in the world. You got to have the spots to move, and those guys did a great job tonight.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they were effective between the tackles. They were effective when they were running the stretch in the zone, and they were getting outside the hash marks. I'll tell you what, Coach kind of hit it, and I talked a little bit about it in the pregame. This isn't the biggest crew that Marion Local has ever rolled out there onto the field, but you know what? There's something that they do out there that's just different. And Chris, for years, I've kind of wondered, we talk about a team like Coldwater who is constantly in this deal. You talk about that league that they play in out there. What is in the water out west? St. Henry, Fort Recovery, we've seen Versailles in this deal, Delphos St. John's, Minster. This brand of football that is played out there, it is completely different than anything you see around the state of Ohio. And you know that because year in, year out, we see those teams in the state championship games. I believe one year, 3 of the games may have featured teams from that conference out west, and it's impressive to watch. It's impressive to see. This is the first time I've ever got a chance to call a Flyers game, and I walked away thoroughly impressed, not just with the offensive line, how the defense played. I mean, it was just one guy after another, stretching things out. Everybody plays assignments, and as Coach said, their defensive-oriented football team, you understand that by the fact that Minster was the only one that was able to score a touchdown on them this postseason. How about that? Unbelievable, only 1 touchdown given up. But they all kind of just play for themselves. They do their assignments. They do one thing perfectly. They don't beat themselves. And when you have guys like that as a coach, it makes it so much easier to do your job.
Well, partner, certainly appreciate it. Did a great job today. Appreciate you and Ryan and Baker. And we will say once again, our final score in this OHSAA Division 7 State Football Championship game is Marion Local 38, Dalton nothing. You can tune back in to the OHSAA radio network when Liberty Center takes on Perry. The pregame will begin around 2:40 p.m. On behalf of OHSAA Executive Director Doug Ute, Radio Network Executive Producer Tim Streed, our on-site producer Aaron Cassidy, and my broadcast partners TJ Downing and Ryan Baker, I'm Chris Solwecki. Congratulations to Marion Local on the 2023 state title for Division 7. The preceding broadcast has been a presentation of the OHSAA Radio Network, fueled by chocolate milk.
We thank you for joining us for this special presentation of the iMedia1 Network, and we now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.
You're listening to Western Reserve Radio at westernreserveradio.com on the Live 365 network and the Live 365 app.
949-0039. That's 800-949-0039. Paid for by the Tax Helpline.
Live from San Francisco on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network, you are listening to Wrestling Observer Live.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Let's get it on!
Let's do this thing. It's Wrestling Observer Live, and we're live 7 days a week. That means Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Sundays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. And here on Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. The number, which you're not going to call, but here it is, 1-800-878-PLAY, 1-800-878-7529. It's Jim Valley, the effing king of recovery, back because of the fans.
Each and every one of you! You all fat, neck-bearded, mouth-breathing trolls!
A big week in WWE as Batista has signed with SmackDown. And What? Wait, I'm being told it's not Batista. That's Randy Orton. Really? Wow. Dude came back looking bigger than ever in his career. Last night he signed with SmackDown and then laid out GM Nick Aldis with an RKO. Another surprise. Kota Ibushi walked to the ring overnight in Pro Wrestling Noah. And Marufuji came out, answered his challenge. They'll face off at the New Year's Eve show, January 2nd. And do we have to talk about CM Punk? I guess we do. All right, we'll do that. Will people care about CM Punk who has to follow an NDA? Plus, Ric Flair edited on Rampage last night. Remember when Ric Flair couldn't talk on WWE TV? Everyone critical of WWE. Not me. This was an example of why WWE did that. And they were right. Kyrie and Bianca had a rough day at the office. WWE stands are out of control. And you won't believe where Chris Jericho showed up. No, really. Lots of stuff. Stand by. It's Jim Valley. It's Wrestling Observer Live.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
We all love children, and many of us have an old car, truck, or van in the driveway. Find the Children has a great way for you to put your unwanted vehicle to good use. Keep listening. Every year, thousands of kids go missing. Trust me, it's a parent's worst nightmare. When a child goes missing, every moment counts, and you need all of the help you can get. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to locating missing children and bringing them home safely. You can help support their mission by donating your car, truck, van, or SUV. A towing company will come and pick up your car for free, running or not, and the donation of your car is tax deductible. Your help is providing the funds they need to continue their services. Call now, donate your old vehicle to Find the Children, and get free pickup. Here's the number:
800-670-7830, 800-670-7830, 800-670-7830. That's 800-670-7830.
1 out of 2 Americans thinks their life is worthy of a book. Here's another startling stat. You may be one of the 15% of people who bothered to start your book, and one of the 6% that got halfway through it, but your gem of an idea likely died. Or did it? Some published authors are making significant money, so join the ranks of the successful people that finish their books with help from Dorrance Publishing. Call right now and our experienced editors and writers will explain to you what it's going to take to get your book completely written, published, and then taken to market to sell it. It's a free consultation, so call right now. Find out how much time and money it takes to finally get that book idea of yours published. Make your dreams happen. Call Dorrance Publishing right now.
800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. 800-485-6003. That's 800-485-6003.
Are you looking for a guilt-free holiday season? Check out 100calsnacks.com. With 100% natural ingredients and no sugar added, these snacks are low in carbs, but high in protein and fiber, and absolutely delicious. You'll get a kick out of the chocolate brownies with ashwagandha, and use code NOGUILT for 25% off your order. That's the number 100